Well, well, well. So, Brian Schottenheimer's, at least as far as I can tell, first interview since the Dallas Cowboys rookie minicamp. And one of the things that I'm going to be listening for, and I want you to pay attention to, is this is year two Brian Schottenheimer. And not only is this year two Brian Schottenheimer, this is year two Brian Schottenheimer with the coach that he absolutely has put his stamp on, as in defensive coordinator one, Christian Parker. I believe we are watching a Brian Schottenheimer who feels a lot better than he did last year, especially since he's... All right, let's try this again. One more time. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Brian Schottenheimer, year two. I believe we are going to see a different Brian Schottenheimer, and I'm hoping we see a different Brian Schottenheimer with the play calling. I want him to evolve that play calling. But nevertheless, Brian Schottenheimer, he gives his interview today, rookie minicamp, day two. And so I'm very interested to hear what Brian Schottenheimer has to say. I have not seen this interview. Some of you may have. I think it's barely been an hour, and this interview is came and went. But nevertheless, I am very, very interested in hearing what he has to say. So, this is what we're going to be talking about today. Shotty, year two. Paying attention to the confidence level of Brian Schottenheimer. Paying attention to a lot of things with him. Year two. Christian Parker, man. The Christian Parker hype is real, man. They are hyping Christian Parker out of the stratosphere. And I'm telling you, I pray he delivers. I think he will deliver. They got him the players to deliver. But I'm praying, I'm telling you, he's got to deliver. No doubt about it, he's got to deliver. It's just too much hype. Too much. Too much. And then we're going to listen to this press conference and we'll hear all of that. All of that. Let's get a quick roll call, and then we're going to get right into this interview. Let's go. Let's get it. What's going on this morning, everybody, or this afternoon? Frank Lawrence, what's going on, Frank Lawrence? Good to see you. Let's get it. Dak Holmes, what's going on? Dominique Pittman, the neighborhood skeptic, what is going on? My sister, Angie, the Rebel Chicks. Angie, we clowned too much last night. We're going to have to repent. we got to repent after Cowboys After Dark last night. we had too much fun last night. What up, Bass? Dak says, welcome to Let's Talk Cowboys and We Talk Facts. Come in, hit the like button, and let your opinion be heard. Also, keep the chat clean. Bump Davis, what is going on? Bump from the 903. What's going on, Bump? Bump, I'm gonna hit you with that Pimp C music next week. I made a Pimp C track. I'm gonna hit you with that Pimp C. What's going on, Miss Matrix? King James, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Hey, I think I'm in now, Miss Matrix. Let me know if I'm in. I think I'm in now. I had an issue early on. What is going on, Thomas Goldring Jr.? What is going on, Nick Burston? What is going on, Oddball JC? Davion Wallace, what is going on? Kippy Gardner, what is going on? Kip, what's going on? Brandy, what is going on? All right, let's get this thing rocking. Yeah. I'm telling you, I've been up too much. I'm telling you, you know we ain't been too long, got off. And I didn't go to bed immediately last night, Edge. So, yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, I'm not going to show them haircuts today. I'm not going to show them haircuts this afternoon, Edge. What's going on, Ron Hanna? Good to see you. Tatiana, you missed it last night, Cowboys After Dark. We was in here clowning. David Everett, what's going on with you? Good to see you. What's going on, Mr. Polo? Man, I see a stack of money right there, man. George Pickens is about to have that stack of money too. Let's get this thing going, guys. All right. Appreciate y'all rocking with me this afternoon. All right. So let's get to this Brian Schottenheimer press conference, and we're going to discuss these two subject matters as we listen to Brian Schottenheimer kind of stop and analyze here and there. But we're going to do that Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue. Miss Major, you gotta forgive me. I ain't been too long with the I ain't been too long with the bed and got up, so you gotta forgive me. I'm sorry. What's going on? What's going on, Rex Erickson? What is going on? What's going on? And you said I stayed up too late playing GTA Online. Uh-oh, wait till you, hey, GTA 6 gonna have you then. It's gonna be over. It's gonna be Cowboys and GTA 6 for you. Yeah, we had a ball last night time together. What's going on, Mr. Get Dirty? G Love, what's going on? What's going on, Megan Sedone? All right, man, this is Brian Schottenheimer. And I'm telling you, man, you can notice a difference in Brian Schottenheimer. I haven't watched this, but you can see Brian Schottenheimer. This is a different Brian Schottenheimer because even though I do think I'm not going to let him off the hook, I am not going to let him off the hook because I do believe he did have a part in Matt Eberflus. He had a part in Matt Eberflus. But I'm also going to give him a break because I don't think he was the driving force behind Matt Eberflus. But I do think that he agreed to Matt Eberflus. But now he got his coach. He got his coach now. Absolutely, he has his coach. And that is one Christian Parker. So I'm pretty sure we're going to hear him talk about that and more. So let's get this thing rolling with Brian Schottenheimer. And let's pay attention to that demeanor and how he's talking now. Let's roll it.
I love messing with the tour groups when they come through.
This tour group or that other tour group?
Huh?
This one?
Multiple groups. Multiple groups.
Tours never stop.
Yeah, they don't. As they shouldn't. Pays for this water I'm about to drink right here.
You get that paper.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News.
Wait. Hold on a sec. Y'all didn't catch what Brian Schottenheimer just did. Y'all didn't catch what Brian Schottenheimer just did. Right off the rip. Did anybody catch what Brian Schottenheimer just did right off the rip? Y'all remember people complaining about the tours? do y'all remember people complaining about the tours? Y'all better catch what Brian Schottenheimer just did by design. Catch what he just did. He loves the tours. Y'all remember people complaining about the tours? Brian Schottenheimer right off the rip. I'm going to tell you something, man. Brian Schottenheimer, and I'm going to keep giving him credit for this. Brian Schottenheimer has embraced this Dallas Cowboys coaching job. I don't think I've seen a coach since Jimmy Johnson embrace this Dallas Cowboys coaching job the way that Brian Schottenheimer has, other than Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson embraced the job in a different way. Jimmy Johnson divorced his wife, moved into the doggone stadium, moved wherever the headquarters were at that time, moved into the facility, eat, sleep, and drank football. It was all Dallas Cowboys. Well, Brian Schottenheimer, he's doing the same thing, but he's doing it in his own way. And what he's done is come in and turn this Dallas Cowboys culture into a family. And rather than fighting against the things that happen in Dallas, rather than fighting against those things, the thing that I like about Brian Schottenheimer and I appreciate is Brian Schottenheimer has embraced everything the Cowboys are. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, the way they run things, the way they do things, the drama, you name it. Brian Schottenheimer he's just embraced all of it. This is the thing I said about him when he first took the job. He's the first coach since Jimmy that just knows what this is. Schotty knows what this is. And he's not kicking against the pricks. He's not fighting against it. He's not trying to ice skate uphill. No. He's embracing it. He's going along with everything that is happening. He is here not only to win, but he's here for the ride. And he has united this, he's created this family atmosphere, and he's united for the first time since I believe Jimmy, again, he's for the first time united, front office, scouting, coaching, players. First time in a long time. That's how you win championships. Brian is embracing all of this.
You only have the rookies here for such a short time, but what's some of the things you're trying to get accomplished with them in this brief period?
Yeah, similar to last year, Calvin. Like, I talked to these guys, had a great visit with them Thursday, but,
Dominique, let me tell you something, though. You're asking a great question. You're asking a great question. What choice does he have but to go along with it? He does have a choice. We saw Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy made the wrong choice. We've seen many coaches before Brian Schottenheimer. They made the wrong choice. He's not just going along. This is the difference, Dominique. He's not just going along. He's embracing. He knows what the Cowboys are. He is embracing it. And what he has done so masterfully, I got to give him credit. What he has done so masterfully is he's been able to navigate it, but Brian has also been able to put his own imprint on it. He's been able to put his own imprint on it. And so some of the things that we are watching with the Cowboys, the better drafts, this draft better than the last, the free agency, acquisitions, the way they're handling, the way they handle Brandon Aubrey, the way they're handling George Pickens, Brian Schottenheimer, while going along, while also embracing, Brian Schottenheimer has actually been able to control some of this narrative in Dallas. He's been able to control some of this in Dallas. But, Dominique, I don't think the point is he'd be out of Dallas. This is the same thing as you take any job. Unless you work for yourself, the best managers, the most successful people, they understand who they work for. They understand who they work for. They understand the workers. They understand the system, even if it's the good old boy system. Even if it's the good old boy system. I'll give you a prime example. I'll use myself. I always give you these church stories. I'll use myself as a prime example. One of the best things that ever happened to me early in my ministry, that when I got my first preaching assignment, and I hate to use these terms of white and black, but I'm just going to use it just for the sake of argument. My first assignment was at an all quote unquote white congregation. And I remember one of my instructors told me, he was white, and he told me, he said, the gospel isn't black, white, yellow, or green. And I was very nervous about going to this congregation. And he said, no, you need to understand something. That as long as you are preaching the truth, as long as you are doing the things that God wants you to do, he said, I don't see the issue. And I had a whole lot of people telling me, don't go, don't do it, don't do this. First congregation, all white. Second congregation, all black. Third congregation, a mixture of both. And I'm saying that as in, once you get around different people, because people aren't necessarily different racially, but people are just different in the way that they do things, the way they think. And you will find a lot of times that once you get to know people, it's not as racial as many people believe. Once you learn how to work with different people, once you learn how to do those things, you actually can come inside of environments and you can make what other people said were hostile environments, where people would say, well, these are the wrong environments and this person is this and this person is that. If you really understand what you are going into and how to work with people, nah, man, I'm not buying it. You can go in and you can not only embrace, but you can change a culture. And Brian Schottenheimer has done that. I'm not going to discount what he's doing. I'm not going to knock this off like, oh, no, he had to. No, he didn't have to. None of us have to, Dominique. None of us have to, Dallas Cowboy fans. We can act a fool in any situation. We can do whatever we want to. Because the only thing we can control is ourselves. We can act a fool anytime we want to. Believe me when I tell you. The Bible says the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. I can act a fool anytime I want to. Anytime I want to. But when I when I know the people, when I know the audience, when I know what I'm trying to achieve, I can change people, man. I can change people. I can. And I believe that Brian Schottenheimer, this is the thing, I've been saying this since last year. I got to give Brian credit on this. Brian Schottenheimer has come in here, and rather than going against the grain, he understands what this is. And when you understand what it is, you can help bring change. Because a lot of times when we're talking about the difference in people, it's culture. It's how they're raised. It's the things that they believe. It's the things that they've always done. But when you can come in and you understand those cultures, when you understand those things, you can change it. You can make people run away from stereotypes. You can change people's minds on stereotypes. You can change people's minds on the way they even think themselves. You can make them look at themselves and say, man, maybe you know what, I'll do this different. I'm telling you, I did this. I've done this now in 3 different locations. 3 different locations. The key is you control what you can control, yourself. You control what you can control, yourself. Nah, I'm not letting you go with that, Dominique. Every man has a choice in how they act. Every single man, Dominique. Every man, every woman. I'm not letting you get away with that today, bro. Every man does have a choice. The one thing that God gives every human being that can understand is a choice. Slavery begins in the mind. It doesn't begin on the outside of the body. If you believe you have no choice, Dominique, you have no choice. You have no choice. People get enslaved because they believe they have no choice. But when you understand you have a choice, no man can enslave you. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. And Brian Schottenheimer has chose to do this the right way. Because the thing that I know that I'm right on is, why hasn't anyone else chose to do it? Why hasn't anyone else chose to do it? Brian Schottenheimer, first year. We're going to see what he does in the second year. But I'm telling you right now, every man gets to decide how he responds to anything, including his environment. Shotty knows what this is when he came in. If you don't have a choice, you've told yourself that. But every man has a choice in how he responds to every single thing.
Number one, it's a really good group. They were all sitting up front. They were all dialed in. They all taking good notes and all things that, as a teacher, you think that they should be doing. But I told them a couple things like last year. One, get them.
Hold on. Let me. Hey, hold on a second. Nah, I'm still not going with you, Dominique. Nope. But that's what you do. When you're smart, Dominique, you don't do it the way Dez did. You can't even compare Dez to Brian Schottenheimer. These are 2 different jobs. 2 different jobs. And I guarantee you, Dominique, Dez, looking back, I bet you Dez would do it different. I bet you Dez would do it different. Because what was Dez after the Dallas Cowboys? What was he? And that's no knock on Dez. What was he? This isn't about Dez. But what was he after Dallas? I guarantee you Dez would do a whole bunch of things different if he could go back and do it. And when you are a person who understands your environment, Dominique, you learn how to skin a cat more than one way. And the one thing that you are not going to do if you want to skin a cat is you're not going to do it the way Dez Bryant tried to do it. Brian Schottenheimer is doing it the right way. Even if he goes against Jerry, here's where he's smarter than Dez and many other people. You think he's going to do it in public? Come on, man. Come on. Grown men know how to conduct themselves. Grown men know how to conduct themselves. For all you know, and I know that Brian Schottenheimer has went against Jerry Jones 20, 30, 40 times. But it's the way that he does it. And that's the choice you have. It's how you do it. You got to know how to go against people. You got to know how to go against people. You got to know how to talk to people when you go against them. Don't go against them and going to the public. Don't go against them and insult them. Don't go against them and try to say, I'm going to do what I want to do. No wise man does that. No wise man does that. I guarantee you Brian Schottenheimer has went up against Jerry Jones and his decisions. And you know how I know he has? Because they're looking different. That's how I know he has. I know that he has because they're looking different. I'm not asking you to agree with me. You already know where we are. You already know we are on it. I'm not asking you to agree. I'm telling you what I'm seeing. I'm telling you what I'm seeing, and I'm telling you what I know. You can change people. You get to control. It doesn't matter what anyone says. If you let people tell you that, then you yourself become a slave. No man enslaves me. No man enslaves me. I make my own decisions. I don't care who I work for. Wherever I work, I tell them and I put them on notice. I walk in every single day prepared to be fired. Because no man enslaves me. But at the same time, I know how to act as a man. I know how to act as a man. I know how to act in every situation as a man. We got to learn how to be men and women. You can go in and make a difference in places when your mind is right. You can go in and work in places that people said they couldn't work. Yeah, you can work there if you have the right attitude. You can do it. Dominique Dominique, you missing it again. Who said they were fighting? Who said Pickens is fighting for his money? It don't look like he's fighting to me. We're going to see as it goes on, but he signed the tag. And you're confusing fighting with business. George Pickens is a grown man. He knows what he signed up for. He knows what he signed up for. And in the grand scheme of things, Brian Schottenheimer is going to hit on this, I believe. Who said George Pickens and the Cowboys are fighting? Who said it? Who said it? Has George Pickens said he's fighting with the Cowboys? Has Jerry Jones said he's fighting with George Pickens? Has Stephen Jones said he's fighting with George Pickens? The only people who keep saying that George Pickens and the Dallas Cowboys are fighting is the media. They're the only ones saying it. And some of us, we've been fighting for George Pickens. I've been fighting for George Pickens. Others have been fighting for George Pickens. But in the grand scheme of things, if we're really telling the truth, they're not fighting. George Pickens and the Dallas Cowboys are not fighting. They're not fighting. They're not fighting. We can tell that lie if we want to, but they are not fighting. George Pickens understands what this is also, and I give him a lot of credit because George is doing exactly what I said a man can do. A man gets to make his own decisions. George made a decision. So why is everybody mad about George Pickens? George Pickens signed the tag. Why everybody mad? He signed it. Explain to me how they fighting again. They're not fighting. They're not fighting. We're making this up. They're not fighting. If they were fighting, George wouldn't have signed. And this is why I said it today on X. Why there's no point in even arguing about George Pickens anymore. George Pickens signed the tag. And why would he sign the tag? Why would he sign the tag if he didn't mean to be at all of the things that are coming up? And again, I'm not going back. I've already said this before. I'm not going back. A man that lives in the past, he can't see his future. I'm not going to live in the past, Dominique. I've already said that. I'm not living in the past. The same grace that we want them to give George Pickens, well, let's give the Dallas Cowboys the same grace. This is the Brian Schottenheimer era. And in the Brian Schottenheimer era, they have been doing things differently. Now what we're waiting for is, will it translate on the field? That's all we're waiting on. Is it going to translate on the field? We got a first-year defensive coordinator. That may put us back a little bit. We got a first-year, we have a first-year defensive coordinator. They're putting a lot of weight on this man's shoulders. I don't think they should be putting the weight on the shoulders of Christian Parker that they're putting. People are really putting a lot of weight on this man's shoulder. They're basically saying that we just need him to get us to 20, 21, 22, 23. We're going to see if he can get us there. But I really think they are putting a lot on this man's shoulders. But we're going to see. We're going to see. We just got to wait for it to materialize on the field. Bass said, gee, what's being explained is when it comes to negotiation, the Jones have always have some stipulations, whereas just the player like normal other 31 teams do. Okay, I'm not really reading this plain. Let me read it in my mind just for a second. Well, Bass, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. No. Hold on. What are the stipulations that we're talking about? What are the stipulations? George Pickens got put on a non-exclusive tag. So explain to me what are the stipulations? What are the stipulations? He got put on a non-exclusive tag. And some of these things that we don't want to talk about. He's been put on a non-exclusive tag. And I still say, even with George Pickens, I think we're speaking too fast. We don't know what's going to happen by July the 15th. We don't know what's going to happen with the Cowboys by July the 15th. I still say they may sign George Pickens. And there are other people that are thinking the same thing. I'm not buying it. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But what I can tell you is even with George Pickens, none of the players that anybody mentions as it applies to these tags. So who signed it like George Pickens? Who signed it? Who signed it like George? They're not fighting. I'm just telling you they're not fighting. What we are not acknowledging about George Pickens, and I talked about this already, what we are not acknowledging about George Pickens, and it's not right that we're not acknowledging it, but we can be right or wrong. It doesn't matter to me. You can do whatever you want to do. But it's amazing to me that when nobody wanted George Pickens, the Dallas Cowboys wanted George Pickens. The Dallas Cowboys brought George Pickens in, and we don't have to acknowledge this, but I'm going to acknowledge it. The Cowboys brought George Pickens in, and they not only brought him in, but they embraced him. They put him in an environment so that he could succeed. Because I don't know if he could have did this anywhere else. And I don't think he was going to get a chance to do it anywhere else. And so while we're acting like the Cowboys has done George Pickens wrong, in actuality, they've done George Pickens right. The only thing the Cowboys have yet to do, and let's stop acting like the Cowboys, acting like they're not going to do it. We just don't know if they're going to do it. But it doesn't mean they're not going to do it. If can go either way. They either extend him or maybe they don't. But at the end of the day, no. People are not giving the Dallas Cowboys credit. The Cowboys brought this man in when nobody else wanted him. And they put him in the Brian Schottenheimer system. And they have helped George Pickens in ways that money can't buy. I'm sorry. I am not buying all this stuff. And at the end of the day, George Pickens signed. Who else has done this? George Pickens signed. George Pickens signed the non-exclusive tag. And George Pickens is doing the right thing. He's in a no-win, and I shouldn't even say he's in a no-win situation. This is just the situation. You can't call $27 million. That's why I got to be careful myself. I can't call a no-win situation $27 million. None of us can call $27 million a no-win situation. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we got to be careful even saying that George is getting done wrong, getting $27 million. Let's slow down a little bit. Is George getting what we believe he's worth? No, because I believe he is worth $40 million a year. But if George does and just keeps doing what George is doing right now, George is going to get $40 million, whether it be with the Cowboys or whether it be with somebody else. And I'm still going to give the Cowboys credit for this. They're going to give him the opportunity to do it. The Cowboys are going to give him the opportunity to do it. He's still going to have Dak Prescott. He's still going to be playing with CeeDee Lamb. He's still going to be playing with one of the best offenses in the league. He's still, and hopefully now even the defense is better. George Pickens gets the opportunity. They're not robbing him of the opportunity to make $40 million in the future. He just got to bet on himself. And I'm still saying, who says the Cowboys aren't going to extend George Pickens? Intelligent Savage, he said full facts. I'm just telling you. We're making the George Pickens situation worse than what it is. We're making it worse than what it is. George Pickens signed a non-exclusive tag, and he signed it quickly. If George is fighting with the Cowboys, I'm going to have to see this. Because if George was really fighting with the Cowboys, why would he sign it? He could have waited until the day before the season. Why would he sign it? I'm still waiting. Because I'm not saying that the Cowboys are not going to extend George Pickens. I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm waiting until July the 15th.
I'm comfortable being here as a Cowboy, the facility, the faces, all that stuff. 2, connection, and then 3, get them caught up. They're only a week behind the vets because the vets came in obviously last Monday, but the rooks have to leave, so they'll be behind 2 weeks. But just get them caught up. But those 3 C's is something that we believe in, and I can tell it's going to be a really connected group. I think it's the personalities are right, the young men, the makeup of them are right, and the way they're working right now has been cool.
You always had an undrafted tight end that somehow makes the 53, and you got a couple here. Just your thoughts on the tight ends you have.
Yeah, you're talking about specifically the young guys, Michael and DJ. Yeah, number one, I'm going to take the time to give a shout out to Lunda and the job that L-Dub does. It's incredible. He tends to always deliver on the guys that he targets potential as free agents, and so he does an incredible job of developing relationships. He usually is at a pro day and gets to know the guys, and but it's more than that. It's once you get them here, you're all in, like we all are. And so talk about Michael first. We've all seen the highlight reel catches and things that he did at Baylor, and it's impressive. And you talk about a guy that can stretch the field vertically and make game-changing, wow-type plays, attacking the middle of the field, I think jumps out at you. And then, DJ, obviously here at TCU, I love the versatility of that DJ brings. You see him play some Y, you see him play some F, you see him play some fullback, and none of these guys are in great shape right now. You might have saw a few guys getting sick yesterday, a little bit of vomiting going on. But I'm really excited about those 2 young men and adding it to a group that I feel is maybe one of the most stable positions on our roster, talking about the tight ends.
All right, let me answer a couple of questions here in the chat. Chat pretty active today. Appreciate it. Bass said, come July, if they haven't extended him, this is what we're saying. Yes, our team is moving different, but our owners and GM still. Bass, I'm still going to disagree. Because in the past, the Cowboys would just pretty much back down on a lot of these contracts. And it started with Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys started saying that we're not backing down on contracts. They did it with Micah Parsons, and they did it with Brandon Aubrey. It worked. Now they're doing it with George Pickens. They are doing it with George Pickens. And again, I gotta keep going back to this issue. We gotta stop acting like that this is not because of George Pickens also. We're being disingenuous again. George Pickens, follow this. George Pickens wouldn't even be with the Dallas Cowboys if he didn't have an issue going on. Let that sink in for a moment. Let it sink in. And I know why. I've already said I understand why George was acting the way that he's acting. But I want you to let this sink in. George wouldn't even be in this situation. He wouldn't even be in this situation. I got to take responsibility for myself, and I can't make myself believe that people owe me something. No. George put himself in this situation, not the Cowboys. Not the Dallas Cowboys. If George Pickens was not doing some of the things he was doing in Pittsburgh, he would have got the extension in Pittsburgh and not in Dallas. Can we get that part in our brain first? 3 years of bad behavior. This is what we're wanting. We're wanting 3 years of bad behavior to override 1 year of good behavior. So explain to me what world they do that in. What world? What world do they do that in? What world do they do that in? Even in the church, people need to see. Jesus said, the Bible says a tree is known by the fruit that it bears. Not one time. You do know that a tree that bears fruit seasonally, on time, all the time. An apple tree don't get to bear apples 1 year, and then we leave it up for 27 years and say it don't have to bear apples no more. What are we talking about? Let's stop pretending that George Pickens, as much as I love George Pickens, and nobody has defended George Pickens, I believe, like I have. George is here because of George. He's here because of George, not because of the Cowboys. I'm not defending the Cowboys. I'm giving you the cold hard facts. And we don't like the facts, but I'm giving you the facts. If George Pickens wasn't doing what he was doing, George wouldn't be with the Cowboys. And you don't get to deliver just 1 year. You don't get to deliver 1 year, Bass. You don't. You don't get to deliver for 1 year. As much as we want that to be a reality, that is not a reality. George Pickens put himself in a situation to where if he came to the Cowboys and balled out, he already knew this was probably going to be a possibility. You really think, do we really believe that David Mulugeta and George Pickens came to the Cowboys thinking in their minds that George Pickens was going to go for 1,400 yards, almost 10 touchdowns, and CeeDee Lamb was going to go down, and he was going to be this incredible? You really thought they believed that? And then number two, we really think that they thought that, yeah, and when you get there, the Cowboys are going to pay you the same amount of money as CeeDee Lamb, or they're going to pay you more than CeeDee Lamb if you go in there and prove you're better than CeeDee Lamb. Do we really hear what we're saying? Just listen to ourselves. Just listen to ourselves. I'm not telling you that George isn't worth $40 million because I believe he's worth $40 million. But at the same time, nobody put George here but him. Nobody put George here but him. And I don't know what world y'all live in, but you don't get to act a fool. You don't get to have bad behavior for 3 years, and then in 1 year you say, I turned it around, and everybody say, yeah, I believe you turned around. I believe George has turned around, but I'm not signing this check. Some of y'all believe George has turned around, but y'all are not signing his check. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. What we don't understand, y'all don't have a clue of what the Cowboys saw with George Pickens. I know, and y'all know what we saw from George Pickens on the field. Y'all know, And I know what we saw based on what they showed us in pictures. Y'all don't have a clue, and I don't really have a clue of what George Pickens was behind the scenes. None of us really know. We got to be a little bit careful. We got to, I just really think we got to be a little bit careful in what we are saying. Nobody did George Pickens wrong in the grand scheme of things. George wouldn't be with the Cowboys had George not did what he was doing in Pittsburgh. And I got news for you. He wouldn't even be getting, I promise you, George would not even be getting the $27 million franchise tag had he not came to Dallas. Man, we are not real. I'm sorry, we're not being real. We're not being real. And I have, as much as I want the Cowboys to pay George Pickens, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're not being right because I'm telling you, go to a job and have 4 years of questionable behavior and then shape up in the year that, okay, it's either make or break. And then you shape up and you do good for 1 year. You think they're about to promote you? I don't know what world we're living in. I don't know what world we're living in. All George needs to do is just keep doing what he's doing. Just keep doing what he's doing. I'm not gonna let you get away with it, Angie. You know I love you. I ain't letting you get away with it. Angie, tell me when Javonte had bad behavior. I'm gonna wait on you. Tell me when Javonte Williams had bad behavior. Tell me. Tell me when Javonte Williams had a bad attitude. Tell me when Javonte Williams had a history of bad behavior. Locker room. Tell me when. I'm going to wait on every last one of y'all who talking about, great point. I'm going to wait on every last one of y'all. Tell me when Javonte Williams had 3 years of bad behavior. And I got news for you. Javonte Williams didn't play good for 1 year. Javonte Williams balled out with the Denver Broncos until he got the injury. Nah, Tatiana, I'm not letting y'all get away with this. Nah, Miss Matrix, I'm not letting you get away with this. Tell me when those players, anybody you name, tell me when Oso Digizua had bad behavior. Tell me when Deron Bland had bad behavior. Tell me when Ferguson had bad behavior. Do y'all not realize Mike Tomlin did not let George Pickens go because of talent? And I can show you the facts. Mike Tomlin said, no, this dude is immensely talented. Immensely talented. Nah, I'm not getting, hey, I'm already destroying your argument. Javonte got paid in 1 year. Tell me when, Dominique. I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to wait on you. Tell me when he had bad behavior. I'm going to wait on you. And let's not move the goalpost. Tell me when he had bad behavior. Tell me when Javonte Williams had bad behavior. I'm not going to let you move the goalpost. Hey, players been acting a fool on other teams. Now, I'm not going to let you move the goalpost. This is the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens was acting such a fool on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do we not hear what I'm telling us? No other team wanted George Pickens knowing he was immensely talented. Y'all, we're not being truthful. We're not being truthful. I'm sticking with the same thing I've been saying. He had bad behavior. Love it. And I'm going to give you another one. No, don't call the truth an excuse. Nah, Dominic, I'm not letting you get away with it. No, we don't call the truth excuses. I'm giving y'all the facts. You might not like it, but I'm giving you the facts. George Pickens had bad behavior in Pittsburgh. That's how he got here. And let's not move the goalposts talking about other players on other teams. We're talking about George Pickens on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That Mike Tomlin let him go. And when the Cowboys got him with a 3rd-round pick, How do you think we got him? Do you think people were beating down Pittsburgh's doors to get George Pickens? Teams were basically saying, we don't want him in the locker room. I can pull up the articles and show you these facts. Mike Tomlin was complaining about this man over and over and over. I'm not letting us get away with this. George Pickens is in this situation because of George Pickens. That's why he's in this situation. Because if Pickens wasn't having bad behavior, he wouldn't be in Dallas. He wouldn't be in Dallas. And his good behavior is in Dallas because of the system they put in place that helped him to have the good behavior. Brian Schottenheimer, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. They put him in an environment to where he could thrive. Stop playing. Stop acting like George Pickens just came in here and said, hey, man, I'm going to act good because now I'm with Dallas. No, he's acting good. Hold on. He got another incentive. You want to know why he has another incentive? Because if this is your only chance to get the bag, y'all not hear me. You don't have to. You don't have to hear me. Do y'all understand that this was George Pickens? That year, this last year he just did in Dallas. Do y'all know that if George Pickens don't do well in Dallas, he don't even get an opportunity to get the bag? Stop it. Oh, no, I'm not moving the goalpost. You asking me, did he act a fool in Dallas? 1 year. Angie, I don't know what world y'all from. You do not get to erase 3 years of bad behavior. You don't get to erase it. You don't get to erase it. No, I'm not buying it. It's not, Angie. And the reason why I know it's not selective, let me give you even further proof. So why hasn't David Mulugeta been able to go and work out George Pickens a deal? You don't have to get 2 first-round picks. Contrary to what we think. You don't have to get 2 first-round picks. You don't. They haven't been able to get anything worked out. Dominique Pittman, I guarantee you, Turpin got paid before he got arrested. Turpin got paid after he got arrested. Turpin got paid after he got arrested. It's not the same thing. Stop it. And Turpin didn't have 3 bad years of bad behavior. Turpin didn't have 3 bad years of bad behavior. And as a matter of fact, I'll even prove my point even further, Dominique. Because see, you want to go to Kevontae Turpin. Dominique, you want to know why Kevontae Turpin was in Dallas playing for chicken feed? You want to know why he was in Dallas? Because he had bad behavior that made Kevontae Turpin to have to go the long way around to get into the NFL. He went from the Arena League. He went to the UFL, then to come to the Dallas Cowboys to play for chicken feed. And he had to be on his best behavior. He had to be on his best behavior. We already know he got in trouble with the law in college. Kevontae Turpin hurt his own career. Turpin hurt his own career. Turpin had to come the long way around to Dallas. The long way around. Gets to Dallas, gets paid, gets arrested. Not the same. Not the same again. Not the same. Newhouse fan. Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua, not the same as George Pickens. And Puka Nacua is an absolute bad actor. But can I help you again? Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua don't play for the Dallas Cowboys. Puka Nacua don't play for the Dallas Cowboys. Puka Nacua plays for the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams didn't get fed up with Puka Nacua and trade Puka Nacua to another team? No, because Sean McVay, unlike Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, said no, because Puka Nacua has been putting up video game numbers. Stop it. Puka Nacua has been putting up video game numbers. And the Rams are basically saying, and this their prerogative, they're willing to put up with that bad behavior. And rather than Puka Nacua being traded away, it looks like they're basically saying, we're going to put Puka Nacua in rehab. And then we're going to sign Puka Nacua, because we're not going to do what the Pittsburgh Steelers did and trade a wide receiver like Puka Nacua, because at the end of the day, it's about winning for a lot of these teams. The Rams are not going to trade Puka Nacua because they see Super Bowl with Puka Nacua. So they're not trading him like Pittsburgh did. So Puka Nacua is not the same situation as George Pickens. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. And Miss Matrix, you're talking about the league. Nope, you can't talk about the league. It's on a team-by-team basis. Because on a team-by-team basis, teams don't go by the same standards. Teams have different standards. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys right now. Y'all mentioning all these other teams. I'm just going to keep on destroying the arguments. Puka Nacua, not the same as George Pickens. Do players act up on other teams? You better believe they do. But those teams, it is their prerogative in what they put up with. It's their prerogative. Case in point, Dallas Cowboys. Philadelphia Eagles said, we can't put up with Terrell Owens. Jerry Jones said, hold my drink. I'll put up with all of the shenanigans of Terrell Owens. Different strokes for different folks. Different strokes for different folks. Different strokes for different folks. No, I'm not today. Nope, ain't no yup to it. Ain't no yup to it. Every single situation is different. Every single situation is different. And we got to realize something. I'm going to destroy your argument even on DK Metcalf. I'm going to destroy your argument on DK Metcalf. The Seattle Seahawks trade DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Pittsburgh Steelers also understand that they can't get DK Metcalf unless they pay DK Metcalf the money. This is the problem with what George Pickens did. And George did it to himself. That when George came to the Cowboys, no one else was willing to give him a chance. A whole lot of teams were willing to give DK Metcalf a chance. Because people, now they got egg on their face. Because now they're realizing that George Pickens is better than DK Metcalf, or at least he is to me. George Pickens is better than DK Metcalf. But when DK Metcalf hit the open market, tell me how many of y'all thought George Pickens was better than DK Metcalf. Tell me how many of y'all thought that George Pickens was better than DK Metcalf. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not even going to listen. How many of y'all thought that George Pickens was better than DK Metcalf? Stop it. Nope, nope, nope. They didn't. They did not think. There was a lot of people that didn't think George Pickens was better than DK Metcalf. And Pittsburgh knew to bring in DK Metcalf, they had to pay him. But the Cowboys knew, we're doing George Pickens a favor. See, hindsight is 20/20. The Cowboys did George Pickens a favor. They did him a favor. George Pickens himself said, I don't want to work out a deal. George Pickens said that. I don't want to work out a deal with the Dallas Cowboys. I just want to focus on playing football. Well, this is where it got him. And again, let us slow down a little bit. Let us stop acting like $27 million ain't nothing. Can we stop acting like that? Is George worth $40 million a year? I've made this argument, yes. But I'm telling y'all right now, we're trying to knock the Cowboys. But I think there are quite a few teams. There are quite a few teams that feel the same way the Cowboys do. I think there are some teams out there that feel like the Cowboys do. Now, I would love to see George Pickens out there without 2 first-round picks attached to him because I believe George Pickens would get that money. I believe he would get that money. But at the same time, man, this is the football business. It's the football business. We don't have to get it. It's the football business. Again, I'm not disagreeing with you that Puka used a racial slang. It's different strokes for different folks. It's different teams. Different teams put up with different things. This has been not since George Pickens. This NFL has been this. This NFL has been this. It's a difference team to team. Different team to team. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. And whether we like it or not. No. It's not that it's not only the Newhouse fam, they forgave Puka Nacua. Your talent level dictates how much a team tolerates you. Puka Nacua is an immensely talented wide receiver. And the Rams are basically saying that we don't care about his behavior. We want his talent because we want to win a Super Bowl. That's their prerogative. There's nothing that nobody can do. We don't have those standards in the NFL. We don't have those standards in the NFL. It's just bottom line. Puka Nacua, I'll be honest with you. Puka Nacua, he couldn't play for, I don't think he could play for my team. I wouldn't be putting up with a lot of this stuff. But JCT Slice said Puka's a better player than Pickens. I don't know if you have a lot of people that'll disagree with you on that, JCT Slice. I don't know if there's a lot of people that will disagree with that. If you would have asked a lot of people in the NFL, they'd probably tell you Puka Nacua is better than George Pickens. But again, let's stop trying to compare George Pickens to these other situations. The Cowboys created a great atmosphere for George Pickens. They absolutely did. And at the end of the day, George Pickens is going to get paid. And I believe George Pickens knows he's going to get paid. No, I'm not defending foolishness of this organization. I'm just trying to help us to see both sides of the coin. There's been nobody. I've argued harder than anybody that George Pickens should get paid. I believe George Pickens has changed. I believe George Pickens has changed. But at the same time, I'm not the one signing the check. Anybody who's been on this channel knows if it was up to me, George Pickens would already be paid. George Pickens would already be paid, but I don't sign the check. I don't sign the check. I don't sign the check, and none of us do. I don't sign the check. And I can tell you this, say what you want to say, but I believe Brian Schottenheimer is in this agreement too. And if you don't believe that Dak Prescott may be in on this too, you're sadly mistaken. I think we're sadly mistaken because when Dak Prescott comes out and says, bet on yourself, take the $27 million, and then you're going to be all right. Come on, man. I don't think we understand what's going on here. I think we're talking with our emotions. All I'm telling you are the facts. I'm just telling you the facts. And if these were not facts, what I'm telling you, I don't think George would have signed this thing already. I don't think George would have signed this franchise tag if George didn't know some of the things that I'm telling you. No, this is why he signed. I think this is why he signed. Angie, I'm not signing the check because you already know I wouldn't. If I were the Cowboys, I'd give him a $70 million guaranteed deal, make it 4 years, really 3 years. I'd put all kind of behavior clauses in the deal. I'd put me a buku of void years on his contract. I'd probably put about 6 years of void years on George Pickens' contract. I'd give him a huge upfront signing bonus so that I could absorb that money over the next 6 years. I'd be paying George Pickens long after he was gone from the Dallas Cowboys. I would do that. But again, let's hold on a second. Who's to say the Cowboys are not going to extend George Pickens? I just think we're jumping to conclusions. I believe what the Cowboys are doing is they want to see how George Pickens is going to handle this. And based on what George Pickens did, I believe that George Pickens believes this too. Oh, I'm saying, hear what I'm saying, Miss Matrix. Football business is on a case-by-case basis. There's no consistency from team to team. Where one team will put up with Puka Nacua, another team won't. Where another team would have extended George Pickens, Pittsburgh Steelers didn't. Football business is not consistent, Miss Matrix. I mean, we've all been watching football long enough to know this. Football business is not consistent. It's not. The Cowboys brought in Greg Hardy when nobody would bring in Greg Hardy. That's called football business. It's inconsistent. I know exactly what I'm saying. Y'all might not be following what I'm saying, but I know clearly what I'm saying. It's called the football business for a reason. Everybody conducts their football business different. No team is consistent with their football business. Every team does it different. Where one team puts up with junk, another team won't. Another team puts up with a player, another team don't. Some teams extend players, other teams don't. It's football business. It is not consistent. It's not consistent no matter how you slice it. But we got to give the Cowboys some credit as much as we don't want to give them credit. Cowboys gave George Pickens the opportunity to be in the situation that he's in. And that's why we as people, sometimes whether they're complaining about a situation, we have to be a little bit more thankful about a situation. Because George Pickens is in a situation that not a lot of people get an opportunity to be in. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to do what George Pickens did in Pittsburgh, even though I still say he was balling, but it wasn't his football that got him out of Pittsburgh. It was the behavior. There are many players don't get the opportunity that George Pickens is getting. He gets to come to the best. He gets to come to the best organization in football. And I saw some of y'all asking what you want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, I am. I would love to play for the Dallas Cowboys. I would love to play for the Dallas Cowboys. I would love. Dominique Pittman, they knew GP had bad behavior, yet still traded. You want to know why they still traded? Because they felt like they had an environment that could help him. Brian Schottenheimer wanted George Pickens, and I've said this over and over. You don't create the environment that the Dallas Cowboys have to keep George Pickens out. You create this culture to bring George Pickens in. That's why you create the culture that Brian Schottenheimer has. You create a culture that you can bring in a George Pickens, and you can help George Pickens be the man that George Pickens wants to be. Stop it. I'm not buying any of it. Superman said, I definitely hope they extend George Pickens this summer. I'm still saying, who says they're not? George is playing the game correctly, whether I like it or not. George is taking a big risk. I've already made this argument. I can't make it anymore because George signed the tag. I can't make the argument anymore. George signed the tag. Frank Lawrence said Cowboys treating Pickens like any other 2-year rental. Even if he plays great in 2026, there's no way Jerry's going to pay him $40 million in 2027. Frank Lawrence, hold on a second now. We're looking at this in too much of a negative way. We're looking at this in the wrong way. George Pickens, if he stays healthy, he wins. Do we not understand what's happening here? If George Pickens stays healthy, and I believe that he is, George Pickens is going to win. We're acting like George Pickens is losing. George isn't losing. We think George is losing, but George isn't losing. He isn't losing. George is winning. This is the part that we don't understand. George is winning this. George Pickens is winning this. Honestly, we're mad for nothing. There is no drama. We're mad for nothing. George Pickens signed that non-exclusive tag. If George thought it would be better not to sign it, George wouldn't sign it. Why are we mad? George signed it. The Cowboys have helped this man rehabilitate. They got him in a position that, hey, understand what the Cowboys are doing for George. George, you play on this tag for $27 million. Whether we extend you or not, you stay healthy, do what you did last season, keep your behavior right. Darren Woodson was exactly right. You're going to go to another team, and they're going to pay you that $40 million. Because we're not paying it to you. The Cowboys are not going to pay George Pickens $40 million and CeeDee Lamb 34 and a half. It's just not going to happen. Bass said, you bought George Pickens here with the expectation he matures, stays out trolling, he produces, he does that. But Pittsburgh behavior is still the focus. He did what you asked. Nah, Bass. I'm sorry, man. We're just looking at this the wrong way. We're looking at this the wrong way. Do we not understand if the Cowboys were still looking at George Pickens' past behavior, he actually wouldn't be with the Cowboys? Can I help us to understand this? And the reason why, and let me give us logic. They're not looking at George Pickens' past behavior. They're looking at his current behavior. And they're saying, continue your current behavior. George, continue your current behavior. If the Cowboys were looking at George Pickens' past behavior, he wouldn't be here. Do we not understand that part? Can I make that part any clearer? I'm looking at your current behavior. This is why we have put the non-exclusive tag. I don't even think sometimes, man, be careful when you're angry about something because you can't think clear. If I'm looking at George's Pittsburgh behavior, I'm not putting a non-exclusive tag on you. And I'm not putting 2 first-round tenders on you. I'm looking at your current behavior and your current performance. And I'm saying I want you to keep up your current behavior and your current performance. Because whether it's here or somewhere else, you are about to break the bank. Can we not understand that part? If the Cowboys were looking at this man's past behavior, he wouldn't be here. Do we not understand that part? He wouldn't be here. They're looking at his current behavior. They're looking at his current behavior. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his current behavior. His current behavior has him here. His current behavior is what's going to get this man paid. George is going to get paid. I promise you he's going to get paid. All he has to do is keep up his current behavior. We're wrong. They're not looking at his past behavior. We're only saying that because he hasn't got the big deal yet. He hasn't got the big deal yet. But George is going to get the big deal. George Pickens is going to get the big deal. It don't have to be here. And this is where George is smarter than I'm giving George Pickens so much credit because George is smarter than so many people. What the heck am I going to fight in a situation that I really can't win in? I can't win in a situation if it's based on my behavior. Because any bad behavior that I display, people are going to go back to that behavior. No, I need to keep people focused on my current behavior. And it is George's current behavior that has gotten him the money. Angie, you might not be mad. I may not be mad, but there are a lot of Cowboy fans out there that are mad. They're mad about the fact that George Pickens hasn't got extended. There's a lot of people mad about this. They're mad that this man has not gotten extended. They're mad. But I just want us to see a different perspective on this. I have been the biggest defender. Do I believe George should get $40 million a year? Yeah, I do. I think George Pickens is better than Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm just being honest. I just think he's better. I think he's better than Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think CeeDee Lamb is better than Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think Jamar Chase is better than Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think Justin Jefferson is better than Jackson Smith and Jigba. But at the end of the day, I don't call it an opinion, Bass. I mean, you can call it an opinion, but I don't call it an opinion. I just think the Cowboys are looking at this in a way of saying, we are looking at his current behavior. He's been great. Or at least as far as everything we know, he's been great. So we're going to give George Pickens the opportunity to make elite level money. But again, he's taking a chance. Miss Matrix, let me see if I can give you clarity. So if they're only giving him, looking at his current behavior, why isn't he signed to a long-term deal? Can I give you the answer? Because they want long-term behavior. What world are we living in? You don't get long-term rewards for short-term success. You get long-term rewards for long-term success. And sometimes long-term success will even supersede your behavior. Case in point, Terrell Owens. Case in point, Randy Moss. You could go down the line on case in point of players with long-term success with bad behavior. Antonio Brown. You could just go on and on. Long-term success. And in a lot of those instances, what winds up happening, it typically happens on the team that they are a part of. Think about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown was getting major paper, went to the Oakland Raiders. They said no. They took the money away from him. Some people say we're not willing to put up with it. Then he goes to where? Tampa Bay. Then he goes to New England, whatever the case may be. But in the grand scheme of things, football business is not consistent. And a lot of people are actually applauding the Cowboys in the way they're handling this George Pickens thing. They're applauding the Cowboys. But I'm still of this opinion, and this is my opinion here. I still think the Cowboys, I think there's still a good chance the Cowboys are going to extend him. I think they're going to extend him. Kippy said, I hate all this negativity around Pickens. Let him play football. He don't bite nobody. Kippy, this is what Dak Prescott has told him, and I think this is the advice that he's following. Just play football. Let the business work itself out. Ron Hanna, this is the point, and this is what he's following with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has told George Pickens this, and I believe this is why George Pickens is doing what he's doing. He's going to get paid. Dak Prescott has told him, and I think this is what he's believing. It don't matter if it's in Dallas, and this is where we got to really understand, I believe, where this young man's mind is. George is winning. Y'all might not realize this yet. George is winning this. George is winning this with the Dallas Cowboys one way or another. He's winning it, and he's going to win it. Yeah. Iceberg Slim, he said Dallas is great, is rich a wide receiver. Albert Sykes says, great analogy, G. I'm just telling us right now. George is winning, and we don't even realize it. We're going to realize it later on that George is winning. Because George is going to put the Dallas Cowboys in a chokehold. Mike said this, exactly. This is what the Players Association agreed to. George going to win this. I'm telling y'all, George is going to win this. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to win too. Dallas Cowboys are going to win because they're going to win with George Pickens this year. They're going to win. And George Pickens is going to ball out. And I believe Dak Prescott is going to help George Pickens put the Dallas Cowboys in a chokehold if they don't extend him. George goes out and balls out this coming season, which he is, even if he doesn't get the same amount of yardage. George Pickens is going to put the Dallas Cowboys in a chokehold simply for this reason. They're either going to have to pay him or trade him. There are no two options next year. There are no two options come next year. With the Dallas Cowboys and George Pickens, there are no two options. They're either going to pay him or trade him. And if they trade him, he's getting paid. If they trade him, he's getting paid. I guarantee you he's getting paid. George Pickens is putting the Cowboys in a chokehold. Absolutely. And he's winning. Just got to stay healthy. And I believe George Pickens will stay healthy. But I don't fault, I'm very perturbed at the Cowboys for not extending George Pickens, but at the same time, it's the business. It's not consistent, but it's the business. Newhouse fam, I still say the Cowboys are operating different because in times past, man, the Cowboys would just fold to these contracts. These last 3 contracts, the Cowboys haven't folded. They haven't folded to Michael Parsons, didn't fold to Brandon Aubrey, and now they're not folding to George Pickens. Second-year option on that franchise tag, Kippy, is $32 million. Third-year option on that franchise tag, Kippy, is $40-something million. George is winning. George is winning. I'm sorry, George is winning this. He's going to win this. George Pickens is going to win this one way or the other. Again, Dak has told this man, bet on yourself. If Dak thought like if George Pickens was thinking like a lot of us are thinking, he wouldn't have signed it. He just wouldn't have signed it. Bass, I'll be honest with you though. George Pickens and David Mulugeta, and a part of this is David Mulugeta. Bass, don't fault the Cowboys. I'm sorry, I just got to keep reminding us. George Pickens said he did not want a long-term deal with the Dallas Cowboys when he first came to the team. George Pickens said that. George Pickens said that. Why didn't he go for a deal when he first came to the team? Why didn't he go for it? Newhouse fam, why are they not paying him? You can look at it 2 different ways. I'm just telling you what they're saying. We want you to keep doing what you're doing. That's your current behavior. That's what they're saying. We want you to keep doing it. Frank Lawrence said, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan since childhood who just now realizes sports media puts out false news stories. I believe this truth. Let's focus on the positive. Frank Lawrence, I believe George Pickens has chosen to do so. George Pickens is going to win this, y'all. I'm just telling you. Kippy, I hate to say it, but I think George Pickens is CeeDee Lamb replacement. Kippy Gardner, this is something that people don't want to deal with. They're going to pay Pickens next year, draft a wide receiver, and let CD walk. As much as I hate to say it, that could be a possibility. Because I don't think the Cowboys want to tie up. I don't think they want to tie up $60 and $70 million in the wide receiver position. I don't think they want to do it. I just don't think they want to do it. Especially not 2 and 3 years in a row. I don't think they want to do it. I just don't think they want to do it. I've heard others say that too. I've heard others say that they believe that CeeDee Lamb is going to be traded next year or traded the year out, or either next year or the year after. Tatiana said, G, do you think if he didn't say that, they would have negotiated with him? Say, oh, you're talking about the tag? Well, a lot of people say people will negotiate with you if you don't sign the tag. But I do think whatever they were going to do, I think they would have did it. But Tatiana, let me ask you the question in a different way. Do you think the Cowboys would negotiate with him, would be more willing to negotiate with George Pickens if he signed the tag or if he didn't sign the tag? Which way do you think it is? Which way do you think it is? Do you think they would have negotiated with him not signing it or signing it? Which one do you think it is? I think by him signing it, I think they're going to be more willing to negotiate with George Pickens. I do. I think they're going to be more willing to negotiate with him. And again, I'm just saying the same thing I've been saying. I don't think the Cowboys and George Pickens are fighting. I think the Cowboys and George Pickens, I think they're coming to an understanding. That's what I think they're doing. See, George is doing this the right way. I don't care what anyone says. As much as I hate it, and I absolutely hate it, but I just think George Pickens is doing this the right way. Don't get into a fight with the Cowboys. Don't do it. Don't fight the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb tried to tell Michael Parsons this. Don't fight the Cowboys. Don't be out here in the media fighting. Don't fight the Cowboys. I think George is doing it right. And I think this is, if George is getting a deal, I think this is what's going to get George the deal. I think it's going to get him the deal. I do. I think George is going to get the deal. I believe George is going to get the deal. Tin Chong, he said, gee, I agree. I think they're trying to see if he's Lamb's replacement in 2 years, so they really only pay 2 years of crazy money at wide receiver. Yeah, I've heard some other people say this. Newhouse fam, you know, we already destroyed that whole conversation with Stephen Jones. But I've heard some other people say that if they sign Pickens, Lamb is done. Tatiana said dropping 88 would be crazy. Well, I'll tell you this, Tatiana. You tell me. I don't even want to talk like this, but you tell me. How did they look last year with CeeDee Lamb and Ryan Flournoy? How did they look? You tell me. How did they look? Yeah, 2027, CeeDee has no more guaranteed money. King Greg said picking George Pickens over CeeDee Lamb wouldn't be the dumbest thing he's seen. Tatiana, is called the football business. And nobody does it consistently. Unfortunately, they don't do it consistently. They just don't do it consistently. They don't. And if they think they can do it without George Pickens, without CeeDee Lamb, they probably would do it. Kippy said, yeah, it would be, but that's the business. It is. It's the business. It's bottom line. People don't realize, man, George Pickens is young. George, was he like 24? He's young. Man, I appreciate this Cowboys conversation we having today, man. Best chat on YouTube. I appreciate this conversation we're having because we can have these conversations and not be mad. So I like these conversations that we can have about the Cowboys because I know we all are passionate and want the Cowboys to win. And one thing that I appreciate about all of us is we want to see George Pickens win. Because I can tell you now, I want George Pickens to win bad. I do. I want George Pickens to win bad. I do. I do. I want George Pickens to win bad. Because I really believe George Pickens got a very bad rap in Pittsburgh. Terrible. And I'm telling you right now, this is one of the reasons why Mike Tomlin is out of Pittsburgh. For as much as we love Mike Tomlin, I just don't think they were running that organization right. Have not been able to hit on the quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger. They've always been able to get wide receivers, but they haven't been able to get a quarterback. And the team has been mediocre at best. You know, it's one thing to say you haven't had a losing season, but when you look at the playoff performances since that last Super Bowl, it's just crazy. And I think George Pickens is a part of it. I think when the Pittsburgh Steelers saw what George Pickens looked like with the Dallas Cowboys, I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers were kind of like the Mike Tomlin, hey man, quit. We'd rather you quit than us fire you because this was a bad move with George Pickens because look at what he's doing over there in Dallas. Had we got him a quarterback, had we did some things different, we could have had George Pickens rather than DK Metcalf. So I believe we all want George Pickens to win. I believe we all want George Pickens to win. And bringing up Zach Martin, I think this is the reason why the Cowboys aren't doing some of the things that they're doing is because of Zach Martin. Zach Martin, I just can't stand the fact the Cowboys extended Zach Martin. I can't stand it. And I believe Zach Martin knew exactly what he was doing. Zach Martin got the money so that he could retire. He basically got a retirement plan. And I do think, when we look at the past and some of the things the Cowboys have done with bad contracts, well, I'm going to give them credit. I think they're trying to stop doing bad contracts. Bottom line. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and hope you get a different result. I'm actually glad they're not, they're being very careful about contracts. I am. I'm very happy they're not doing this stuff with contracts no more. Mendoza, he said, gee, all we want is all sides to win, Pickens, the organization, the fans. Me too. I want them all to win. I want them all to win. All of them. What up, Larry Goldman? He said, Pickens had problems. Memphis had problems in Pittsburgh. He was young and it takes two. Everybody should remember that. George showed everybody he's a class act, and George showed everybody he's a class act. And again, Larry Golden, just keep doing it. That's all he's got to do, and George going to win. And I believe Dak Prescott has told George Pickens that. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Tatiana, let me tell you something. I think this question right here, Tatiana, give it one more year and then answer this question. Don't answer this question after 1 year. Don't answer the question of, would you rather have George Pickens over CD Lamb after 1 year? Don't ask that question after 1 year. Not 1 year. Because there's no way, well, I ain't going to say there's no way. There are a lot of people that would say that, we had this argument during the season. People were saying that Pickens was better than Lamb. But Lamb has done this consistently longer. Let's see again. And let's just think about what we're saying. So is George Pickens better than CD Lamb? So let me ask the question. Tatiana just asked Kippy a great question. She just asked Kippy a great question about taking George Pickens over CD Lamb. Well, the question is George Pickens better than CD Lamb? Because we've seen George Pickens for these last few years. George Pickens, CD Lamb. We've seen what CD Lamb is these past few years. We've seen consistent performance. We've seen pretty much consistent behavior from CD Lamb. We kind of know what he is. George has had 1 year. So are we really ready for George Pickens to leapfrog CD Lamb in salary? That's a very good question. Because that's basically what we're saying. That after 1 year, George Pickens deserves to get paid either equally or more than CD Lamb. For 1 year of consistency as far as what we're calling his behavior. Stephen Jones made this argument. We might not realize it. Stephen Jones made this argument about CD Lamb. He's been consistent. That's why we paid him. He's been consistent. So we're saying that we're ready to let Pickens get that in 1 year. Pickens is a monster. I'm telling you right now. I'm just telling you, I would have already paid him. But I'm not signing the checks. Kippy Gardner said Pickens won his games without drops. And Lamb has cost us games. Kippy, it's only against Pittsburgh. Only against Pittsburgh. Not Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. It's only against Philadelphia. I'm thinking about Pittsburgh with George. It was only against Philadelphia last year. I don't know what it is about Philadelphia, man. Lamb had 7 drops, and both of them win those Philadelphia games. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. All right, man, let us continue this. Man, man, I feel like I'm on Cowboys After Dark right now. All right, let us finish this. Andrew said CD Lamb is an all-around weapon except for them slippery hands. He said except for them slippery hands. All right, man, let's give CD Lamb a break, man. CD Lamb he's been the model citizen of consistency. He done his thing, though. Yeah, Lamb done his thing.
Marcel Dillis, Cowboys, couple of questions. I don't know if it was Caleb or one of the other rookies. They talked about that the Super Bowl and getting to the Super Bowl was emphasized in one of the meetings. Can you talk about that conversation and what was that about?
Y'all went to the George Pickens conversation way too early. Y'all do know that George Pickens is somewhere in this doggone inside this doggone press conference, man. We went to George Pickens way too quick.
Yeah, I think I've never shied away from it. That's the goal. Never will. I think I'm more comfortable talking about it now because I do feel like this team is built to where, I feel even better going into year 2. Thrilled about the defensive changes that we've made. I'm quite honestly elated about how the draft went. But I started that with the veterans as well. Super Bowl 61, February 14th, 2027. And that's where we plan on being. And that's a tall task, and we have to clean up a number of things that we need to improve on from last year, and that starts with protecting the football and taking it away and things like that nature. But it was proven.
Come on, man. Y'all not finna start cracking on CD. Elwood Frazier said George never had a quarterback, so we can't really say CD been consistent. CD Drops is his name. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. We can't call him CD Drops, man. Come on, man.
Proven this year by both Seattle and New England that if you didn't qualify for the playoffs, the previous year, it doesn't mean you can't get to the big game.
Now, I told y'all this right here before. See, the Cowboys have put in their minds, including Brian Schottenheimer, obviously. The Cowboys have put in their minds since the Seattle Seahawks made it last year and the New England Patriots made it last year. The Cowboys are saying, why not us? I wouldn't be surprised if they turn that into a mantra. Why not us? Because they're basically saying if they can do it and not make the playoffs the previous season, we can do it too. And here they are. Man, Darren Posey, bro, that's something I would expect you to say, bro. Edward Frazier called this man CD Drops, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't call the man CD Drops. Don't call the man CD Drops.
And we talked to D. Winter the other day, and he said he'd never done the green dot. So much talk about the green dot and the other guy, what that looks like, and why did it not matter with him? And or is this something he can do? Can you just talk about the vision for that green dot, who that could be?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the green dot is what is it? It's interesting because I think some people, general fans, don't really know what the green dot is. Hell, there was never a green dot for defense up until a couple years ago. The biggest thing I would say about that is we're going to train so many people, Clarence, in the green dot that we're going to find out who's comfortable doing it. It might be Demo. It might be Jalen Thompson. It might be D. Winters. It might be whoever. And
I believe if there was a player that would be the green dot on this team right now, I believe that green dot would probably be first D. Winters, because I think he did it last year with the 49ers. And then in a stretch, I mean, the way they keep talking about Caleb Downs, mess around and make Caleb Downs the green dot. But the Cowboys saying they're going to shoot. I guess they're basically saying they're gonna find out who the green dot is on this team. What up, Tristan York? He said, I think they both make each other better when they're both out there. So excited to see the team in this defense. Yeah, I think they need both of them. I agree with you. Tatiana said, Dominique, can you see Lamb leaving in 2 years? Yes, I can. If they get a Super Bowl, I can see him leaving. And Tatiana, not only can I see CeeDee Lamb leaving, if he leaves the Dallas Cowboys, he's going to break the bank. CeeDee Lamb going to break the bank in 2 years if he leaves the Cowboys. Because let me tell you what I think is about to happen with the Dallas Cowboys. I said this last year, and I'm going to stick to it. Dak Prescott's contract is not designed for the Cowboys to get from under. Dak Prescott's contract is designed for the Dallas Cowboys to extend it. I'm of the firm belief that Dak Prescott is going to continue the tradition. Roger Staubach didn't play for another team. Troy Aikman didn't play for another team, even though he's on another team now with the Miami Dolphins. Tony Romo didn't play for another team. I also believe Dak Prescott isn't going to play for another team. I believe the Dallas Cowboys are going to extend Dak Prescott after this season. And if they extend Dak Prescott after this season, then it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to extend George Pickens and maybe extend CeeDee Lamb one more year, maybe even 2. Because if you're going to win the Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons, which I think there is a high chance the Cowboys are going to get this Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons, if the team is still looking great, well, keep it going. Go ahead and see if you can win another 1 or 2. See if he can get you about 2 to 3 in a 4-year span. Because I believe Dak Prescott's going to be extended. And if they extend Dak, I'm not going to be surprised if they extend Lamb. Aten Chong, he says CD's cap number is $46 million in 2027. Won't happen. $26 million in 28. Won't happen. 31 in 29. No guaranteed money. A little dead money. Follow the money in the cash flow. Yeah. We're going to be paying CD Lamb long after he gone. Yeah, he got void years on that thing, man. Yeah, he got void years on that thing. Yeah, we let go of Dez, man. We let go of Dez. But you know, Kippy, I don't know, man. You know, I think the Cowboys were struggling with Dez Bryant. I think the Cowboys were struggling with Dez Bryant. I mean, they basically had a security watch on Dez Bryant. I mean, they basically had his own Secret Service. I think they were struggling with Dez Bryant. They're not struggling with CeeDee Lamb and these other guys like that. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. I just don't think that's going to happen with CeeDee Lamb. If they extend Dak Prescott, I think they'll extend CeeDee Lamb, even if it's another couple of years. Even if it's just 2 more years, I think they'll extend CeeDee Lamb. I think they're going to try to keep CeeDee Lamb until at least 30. I think they're going to try to keep CeeDee Lamb at least until he's 30. Yeah, at least until he's 30. But they were struggling with Dez. Dez had a lot of issues, man. I'm telling y'all now, if Dez could go back and do, you know, because hindsight is always 20/20. Dez was one of them, man. Dez Bryant was absolutely one of them. I believe if Dez could do it all over and do it different, I think he'd do some things different. Because Dez, there's no way Dez should have been out of the league as quick as he was. There's just no way. After Dallas, he was done. Angie, you said you crying after CD Lee. You said you cried. Tatiana, yes. I see Dak Prescott getting extended. I do. If Dak Prescott comes out and have another year like he had last year, book it. Book it. Dak is getting extended. What's the point in keep pushing Dak Prescott's money into void years? What's the point? And if Dak Prescott is still at the top of the game, you might as well extend him. Just go for broke. Just go for broke. If Dak is at the top of his game in 2 years, you'd be crazy to trade him. Go for broke. Go ahead and extend him. Go ahead and extend him. Let him retire a Cowboy. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to retire a Cowboy. I actually think he's going to retire a Cowboy.
You know, I think at the end of the day, communication comes down to not just the green dot, but the entire defense. And so if we were playing a game this week, I could not tell you who was going to be the green dot. But we're not playing a game for a while, and so we've got time. There'll be trial and error. There will be different things. There'll be different packages of guys being together. And so at the end of the day, I have my favorite, who I would – since it's a Kentucky Derby, I can talk about that a little bit. I have my favorite, not in the Derby, but in who I think will be our green dot. But I'm not going to share it with you.
Can't tease us like that.
I know. I saw you literally raise up like, Shotty's going to drop some knowledge.
I think the green dot is going to be D Winters. I do.
No, Shotty's not. Like, unless you tell me who's going to win the Derby, I'm not going to tell you who I think the green dot's going to be.
What up, Rolando Rodriguez?
I don't even know it. I want to get caught up before we get started. Like, hey, can we hurry this practice up? I mean, we got the Derby coming up.
Todd Archer with ESPN. First time we've talked to you since George had signed the tag. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, y'all had the George Pickens conversation too fast. So we won't have it long on this section since they done got to CeeDee Lamb.
Getting maybe that out of the way, and you know if they'll be around in any of this voluntary stuff.
Yeah, again, was not surprised he signed the tender, and the communication with GP along the whole offseason has been great. As you guys all know, this is voluntary, but again, I think at the end of the day, I am excited to see him when I see him, and I'm not sure when that's going to be, but I just know that he's got his he knows where he wants to get better and improve, and I think that I'm looking forward to seeing him back and around whenever he gets here.
And then yesterday was the first day you saw your defensive coaches on the field. How much, you're watching the players, but how much?
I'm telling y'all, they have convinced George Pickens. They have convinced George Pickens. He's going to win. I think they've convinced him he's going to win, guys. And I believe he's going to win, too. George is going to win by doing what he did. And he may actually get that extension. I'm just not ruling out that extension. July 14th, July 15th. I'm just not ruling it out. I'm not ruling out that extension. Gravedigger said on the way that I would be totally fine with trading GPs if we were to get Jeremiah Smith in the draft next year because he will be a generational talent at wide receiver. Problem is, Gravedigger, if we do what we're supposed to do, George Pickens himself is going to guarantee we don't get that. Yeah, George Pickens himself is going to guarantee we're not going to get him. Yeah, Frank Lawrence said, D, when is a potential stud? Can't believe San Francisco let him go to Dallas. Make sense of it. I'm shocked, too. He had a crazy year last year. Tin Chong, appreciate you just becoming a member. Pure Game and Scopes, I think he's going to get paid, too. I think GP is going to get paid. That's why I say I think some of the arguments and discussions, and maybe don't let me call them all arguments, some of the discussions around GP, I think they're null and void. I think he's going to get paid. I just think they're null and void. I think he's going to get paid. Kippy said, I don't trust Lamb in the playoffs. Imagine reaching the NFC title game and Dak throws an end zone pass to CD. And he's... Kippy, hold on a second. Kippy, come on, man. Come on, man. You said if Dak throws him an end zone pass to CD and he drops it, what his mama gonna say? Dak put it too far again? I don't trust Lamb. Stop. Come on, man. Come on, man. We ain't doing this to CD Lamb, man. We ain't doing this. We ain't doing this to CD Lamb. We ain't doing this to CD Lamb, man. I believe in CD Lamb. And I believe if CD Lamb stays healthy, I believe the Cowboys are going to have a great opportunity to get to that playoff game you're talking about, Kippy. Gravedigger said, that's what I said too. If it were to get Jeremiah Smith in next year's draft, then we would have had a horrible year this year. Yeah, that's going to be the issue. George Pickens is going to guarantee, I believe, that we're not going to have that bad year. And if you let the media tell it, Caleb Downs is about to come in and turn the Dallas Cowboys defense into a top 15 defense. Bad said, I can see that Jerry likes trouble wide receivers. He has a track record with trouble wideouts, Irvin, Dez, GP, or some personalities. I'm telling you, man, I think he's going to extend George. I just do. Angie, we know you trust CD. Angie said, I trust CD, but they don't got to spam him so much, especially if Pickens around. I agree with that, too. I just think his biggest struggle was against the Eagles. So as long as the Eagles are not in the playoffs, CD Lamb going to be great. Be great without him in there. Without the Eagles in there. Tin Chong said the bill for the young O-line and these players, young defensive players, will be due in 29. CD has 2 years left. Owner said pump the brakes on the salary cap shooting up so fast. Yeah, they finna try to, man. I'm telling you right now. I think the Cowboys about to try to, I believe they're about to get it, man. I do. I believe they're about to get it. Real estate vet, what's going? What's on? What's up? He said, what's cracking? Tell you like we used to say back in the day, what's crack-a-lacking? He made it for the day show, showing cribs in Vegas heat. Yeah, I bet it's hot out there, man. I'm tired of this Seattle weather we've been having over here in Dallas, man. It's been muggy. Yeah, need that Cowboys news I can use. Yeah, we checking out this Brian Schottenheimer thing. Just had a heavy discussion about George Pickens. Oh, Tatiana, CD Lamb leaves Dallas, he breaking the bank. Yeah, he breaking the bank when he leave Dallas. CD ain't worried about it. He know when he leave Dallas, he breaking the bank. Because CD Lamb, everybody knows CD Lamb is one of them. He breaking the bank.
You kind of seeing how these guys go about it.
It was great. It was great for me just to hear the type of teachers they are with the guys, the way they preach fundamentals and teach fundamentals. And the cool thing with the small numbers like we have right now, Todd, is you're able to kind of, you teach the drills in the classroom, then we'll go into walkthrough, and we'll do the walkthrough. We'll kind of teach them half speed. Then you go out there. I do have to remind a few of those guys, the coaches, that these guys haven't been doing much. I use a guy like Malachi Lawrence, who had 16 or 17 top 30 visits.
Yeah, Dak retired. He's retiring to Cowboys.
These guys
No doubt about
it. And as coaches, we're just so excited
What up,
to
Lonnie
have them in the
Cabal?
building. But I think the defensive staff as a whole, tremendous teachers, tremendous motivators, but what excites me the most is their ability to teach the fundamentals on the grass.
Sorry if I can get one more. You mentioned now the rookies have to leave. Does that rule seem outdated at all to you? Like why they need to leave these days?
Yeah, I quite honestly, I mean, I know it had something to do with graduation and things like that. I'm going way back. Like when I first asked that question 25 years ago when I probably broke into the league, it's something that probably should be talked about. Once they, they're on our football team, I know they don't want to go back. We'd love to have them stay. And the biggest thing that I'll say to that is when they leave, we're going to make sure they leave with a plan for training on Monday, Tuesday of next week, and whether they take Wednesday off or they go 3 days, take Thursday off. Because, again, they're going to get thrown right into phase 2 with the rest of the vets who have been here, some of them for 5-6 weeks just training on their own. So it should probably be discussed.
John Show with The Athletic. Just early impressions. I know you haven't been around.
The cool thing is, though, when you got a player that is as smart as a Caleb Downs, he's the type of dude that you don't have to have an organized practice. Caleb Downs can get guys together on his own and go over some of these plays and things of that nature to help some of these people really get these plays down. These guys can get together on their own if they want to. So I don't think it's as big of a deal if they got to leave as they may be making.
Him a lot, but Caleb Downs, what stands out?
What we thought, John. I mean, the person elite, the intelligence elite. It's cool for me on the field to watch the ability for him to be going in any direction and how quickly he can get into balance. Why that matters is it matters with the ability to tackle in open field space, make plays on the ball, in coverage, time up blitzes. He's just got incredible lower body athleticism that when you watch him, he always gets into that same position where he's ready to strike with same foot, same shoulder, whether it's left foot forward, right foot forward. And the way he moves in the individual periods, which is what really most of this camp is going to be, is mostly individual, It's very impressive how he can do that.
And then, you guys hire Christian Parker. At that time, you don't know definitively what your defense is going to look like. But now you've had free agency, you've had the draft. How do maybe your expectations change of what the defense can be this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, I heard Christian comments, and it's funny. I mean, he's learned so much from Vic. But he's going to put his stamp on this based off of, what fits our personnel, and whether that's playing nickel 51, whether it's playing nickel 4-2, how much base we play, all of that. But he and I have had these conversations from the minute he got hired that, we wouldn't be able to finalize the foundation of what we're going to be built on until after the draft. Not that the talent acquisition piece ever stops. It doesn't stop. But now we know the for the most part what our roster is going to look like. Now is when those big decisions are made. And just being around him these last couple of days since the draft, it's very clear we've got a starting point in a direction of what it's going to look like. And it's no different than what he sat up here and said with his introductory press conference. We're going to be multiple, but in terms of the starting point, is it potentially nickel? Yeah, I mean, there's a really good chance that that's what it is. And we'll see how much these guys handle.
Nick Harris.
Yeah, and this is a great point that they're making. See, you can't run 3-4 70 and 80% of the time in this league. You just can't do it. You're going to get beat. They're going to have to run quite a bit of nickel in this league because of just the way it's designed. And, thinking about, I see, we're talking about the CeeDee Lamb conversation and things of that nature. I'll be honest with you, though. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be in the business of subtracting from their offense over the next 2 years. I just don't think they're going to be in the business of that. I think, if anything, the Cowboys are going to continue to try to add to this offense. I think that's what they're going to try to do. Because as much as defense wins championships, you need to score points. because there will be a game or two where a team will figure out your defense, and you're really going to need your offense to be able to consistently score those points. And so I don't think the Cowboys are going to be looking at getting rid of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb over the next couple of years. I just don't think they're going to be willing to do it.
Star Telegram last year was you during rookie minicamp trying to, get your practice in order and get everything situated. Now it's Christian Parker. How have you seen him really delegate to his staff, take control of his side of the ball, whether it be on the field or in these meetings, even though it's been super brief?
Yeah, I think he's what helps him, Nick, is the conviction. He knows what he wants. He does a great job getting his staff together and painting that picture. But I will say, he's very, very comfortable walking around and observing his staff. When I became a coordinator at 32, I was probably a little bit more of a micromanager. It's not a good thing, but I was coaching the quarterback still and all that stuff. But I think, again, it shows some of his maturity that, hey, I've trained these coaches on what I want, what I expect, and I'm going to go make sure they're giving me what I've requested. But at the same time, it was really cool to see him grab Caleb after Caleb did some of the safety training with Smitty, Ryan Smith, and Rob Muschamp and Derek Ansley, to see those guys kind of watch CP take Caleb into the nickel stuff and some of the pattern match stuff and footwork stuff. And, the guy's an elite coach, and I told him last night, I said, hey, you can't do enough of that, because, again, he is an expert, and the guys he's trained, speaks for itself.
And there's still quite a bit of Mike linebackers in the free agency market. Do you feel like another starting caliber Mike linebacker is needed to kind of throw into the competition?
Yeah, no, I'm comfortable with where we are. We're not looking. We're not evaluating. I think, adding, D and adding Jay Sean and adding Curtis Robinson, and, we'll get, opportunity to evaluate these guys once phase one ends, which it'll end this week, and then we'll start phase two. But, we're never closed for business. And, at the end of the day, I think, we've got a good group of linebackers, and now it's about training them with Christian and Scott Simons and those guys and getting them all on the same page about the system that we want to run.
Yeah, I've said this before. Jerome Miller. I think this is going to be one of the issues that we may see this year with the Dallas Cowboys. Is I'm not sure they're going to go Don Coryell or Air Coryell this year. I think they're going to really try to improve their run game. I can also see where Dak Prescott is probably going to get some of these other receivers involved. I see Ryan Flanoy doing a little bit more. I see Michael Trigg really getting involved in this offense. I also see Ferguson one way or another. Ferg going to have to do it. If not, it's going to be somebody else. But I see the tight end being a lot more active this year in this offense. I think there are a number of things. Man, we got to realize what happened with George Pickens. If CeeDee Lamb doesn't go down, I'm not sure George Pickens has the yards that he has. He wasn't on that trajectory until CeeDee Lamb went down. And then when CeeDee Lamb went down, he went video game bonkers with him and Ryan Flanoy, him being the primary target in running those routes that CeeDee Lamb runs. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to get as many yards. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get as many yards if he's going to be able to get as many yards with CD healthy. And I'm not sure if the both of them get as many yards if they can get more participation from Ferg, more participation from Michael Trigg, and getting some things also more from the running back situation. So, we may see a whole lot of different things as it applies to this Cowboys offense. There's so much potential for them to go in so many different directions offensively. And so George I just don't think he's going to have the same production. To come back, people don't realize how hard it is to get 1,500 yards and 8-9 touchdowns in a season. I don't think people understand how hard that is. So we'll see what happens, man, because, again, if Lamb stays healthy, I'm not sure he gets that.
Tom Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. You mentioned it briefly there when Christian was one-on-one with Caleb, and when Derek goes one-on-one with Devin Moore and BT Jordan with Malachi. When it is those smaller settings like it is now, how valuable is that one-on-one coaching time for these young guys?
It's incredible.
Pure game,
Tommy.
and he's making the team.
You don't get enough of that once
They done
they're
paid him
here
too
with
much.
the
He making
vets,
the
and that's
team.
why I'll go back to what I said about getting caught up. Like it's a chance to get them started from the ground up. Truly, the foundational fundamentals of stance and how we carry our hands and how we strike and how we teach block destruction. But when we're out there phase 2 when the rookies come back and there's 14 DBs or whatever it is, like it's going to be hard to get that individual one-on-one time. I think an area that the league's gotten right is we do get more time with the rookies. So when they're integrated in with the vets, their day is a little bit longer than the rooks, or then their days longer than the vets, which is a good thing. They need more time. They need to get caught up on some things, and these reps are invaluable. Last year we went on the field one time. This year we're going on the field twice because I do see the value of it, and knowing that we've got some guys that are going to plug and play pretty quick for us.
And when you have the second-year guys like Trayshawn Holden, Justin Barron coming back for this,
Man, I'm pretty excited about this, though. I'm really excited about the fact that the Cowboys are so young. I mean, I'm really excited about this, man. When you get a really young team, you get to teach them how to win. And that's one of the things you just absolutely have to love. You got a brand new coach in Christian Parker. You got a lot of young players. Some of the players that we have, they're still young, like Demarion Overshown. I think we can kind of get some of that Matt Eberflus residue off of them, and I think they're going to be good to go once they get to Oxnard, California. I am really excited about the youth of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, and they got some guys who, they got some, I guess we could say some older guys too, but I am very excited about the youth, and I'm very excited to see what they do after June 1st.
what do they get out of this? How important is it for them to come out and be a part of this as well?
Yeah, I love having them here. I didn't have them here last year. I think it's because, they were these rookies last year. They can speak to it. I think it's good for them to get caught up on some of the install stuff that we're doing, both offensively, defense, and special teams. But I think it's great for the rookies to have those guys as a sounding board, and it allows us to see the leadership ability of a Justin Barron, of a Trayshawn Holden, Marcellus Johnson. I'm missing one more that's here. Dio. You see it, and I think that's something that if they look back on where they were last year, they were those guys, nervous, anxious, all that stuff, and now they're kind of like, yeah, it's football. Like this is what we do with the Cowboys.
Ron Hanna, I really think you just made an excellent point. Ron Hanna, I think you just made an excellent point. This point right here, y'all talking like the man won't be here. Understand, Jerry drafted CD and gave him that 88. And if y'all know Jerry, that number means the world to Jerry. He will get rid of Pickens before he gets rid of Lamb. Ron Hanna, you ready for this part? Let me add something to what you just said. I think that may be what they're saying, that if we got to choose between the two, we're going to pick CD Lamb, at least right now. I think that's what they're saying. If they had to pick between the two, I think they're saying we'll pick Lamb. I think they're saying it. We'll pick Lamb. Yeah, you don't get in that 88 club and they get rid of you easy. Because CD Lamb is, I just don't think he's going to be like Dez Bryant. Lamb, where I do believe Dez Bryant was more of a dog than CD Lamb, Dez is more of a dog. But what I like about Lamb is he's a technician. And I know we're talking about some drops. I still say it's against the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know why. But Lamb is a technician. He can run the entire route tree. Not that Dez Bryant couldn't, but he didn't. He didn't. And I don't think he worked on it. He let the Cowboys basically pigeonhole him into slants and jump balls. But that's not Lamb, though. Lamb has had the benefit of having Kellen Moore as his coach for a few years. He can play slot. He can play, he can basically play XYZ. He can play it all. Lamb can do it all. And where I do believe that Dez is more of a dog, has more raw talent, Lamb is a technician. Lamb is a technician, and I absolutely think that I don't know if Jerry. I'm like you, Ron Hanna. I don't know if he would get rid of Lamb. I don't know if he would get rid of him. I don't. I really think he likes him that much. Yeah, I really think he likes him that much, and so I think that may be what we're watching. I think we may be watching Jerry and these guys saying that we'll get rid of CD Lamb. I mean, we'll get rid of George. Man, we'll get rid of George Pickens before we get rid of CD Lamb. Shoot, CD Lamb is the man in Jerry's eyes. I'm telling you right now.
Scott.
Skyler Hicks with the AP. First impressions from this side with Christian and Caleb, they both seem like kind of cerebral football junkies. I just wonder what kind of connection you think those two have established here in the early days together.
All right.
Yeah, it's been great. I think it
I saw
started
you
in
already.
the top 30 visits. It started with the draft process. It started with
I ain't skipping comments like JCT Slice
them
say.
both being football junkies. I think
I
the
saw-
word you used.
I saw you.
Nerds, whatever you want to call it. Christian is, I mean, I can't get the guy to leave the building. You know, I kind of see myself as a grinder. I don't think I've beat him out. I don't think I've gotten. I'm always out before he is, and I'm like, dude, he just loves it, man. And I think Caleb's that way. You know, Caleb loves talking football. He wants to grow. He wants to get better, and you know, I can just see those guys for. You know, having hours and hours of meetings and dialogue about different things, and I think they'll feed off each other.
Angie, I appreciate you sending me those links on X. Angie, we're going to make sure, if anybody, let's make sure, you and I, we are going to monitor Caleb Downs' podcast. We are going to monitor Caleb Downs' podcast because I don't think people minded Michael Parsons having a podcast. I think it was the things he was saying in the podcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I keep up with Caleb Downs' podcast. I want to hear some of the things he says because he's pretty active on that thing. He really is. Him and his brother. Oh, Tatiana, you welcome. No, hey, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, Angie. Hey, we gonna keep up with Caleb Downs' podcast. We gonna keep up with that podcast because I want to hear some of the things that he's saying. I really do.
On George, you never seemed worried about this issue at all, but now that he's signed and that would seem to settle at least the mandatory part of the offseason, how important is that to you to get that part of it settled with, you know, all these offensive pieces already in place and you kind of wanting to take that next step with this group?
Yeah, again, I think more than anything, I think it makes us excited that, you know, we know that we plan on George being here, and George, I think, is really excited about coming back. And my word I've used, Skyler, is always evolve. Like, we're in the process of evolving, but it doesn't have to happen tomorrow or.
So, okay, so we were having this conversation about George Pickens. So y'all tell me what this means to y'all. Are the Cowboys only talking about this year, or are they talking about in the future? Why would the Cowboys keep saying, we plan on George Pickens being here? Why would they keep saying that? Why would they keep saying that? This sounds like to me they got plans for George Pickens to be here for the long run. This sounds like to me they got plans for George Pickens being here for the long run. Because what sense does it make to keep saying we got plans for George to be here? Why would they keep saying that? He's already here. They got him on a non-exclusive tag. Y'all tell me what y'all are taking, because I'm taking this as this meaning no. I'm taking this as they're wanting him beyond this season. Pure Gaming, he just said he takes it as this season. It don't sound like to me they're talking about this season only, because you already got him. He's on a tag. Let's let me play that back again.
This issue at all, but now that he's signed and that would seem to settle at least the mandatory part of the offseason, how important is that to you to get that part of it settled with, you know, all these offensive pieces already in place and you kind of wanting to take that next step with this group?
Yeah, again, I think more than anything, I think it makes us excited that, you know, we know that we plan on George being here, and George, I think's really excited about coming back. And my word I've used, Skylar, is always evolve. Like, we're in the process of evolving, but it doesn't have to happen tomorrow or a week from now. It's going to happen.
Boy, Dominique, boy, boy, yeah, you know you my man, boy. You said, boy, you are the skeptic, boy. Hey, man, I can't wait to see your face when the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. We're going to have a party somewhere over in Dallas when the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. Because I am telling you, boy, you ain't giving the Cowboys no breaks, man. Hey, Kippy, man, I'm like you, man. I don't know if I can eat that Popeyes chicken, man. That grease they be frying that Popeyes chicken in. Man, I don't know if I can eat that Popeyes chicken. I'd have to fry me some chicken on my own, bro. That Popeyes chicken is good, but it ain't healthy for you, man. You might need to, you know, make sure you limit yourself to eating that Popeyes chicken maybe once a quarter, y'all. Ek Chung, he said, I think Jerry thought about Alvin Harper. Yeah. And what could have been if he'd kept him with Irvin. Yep. I agree. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Freddie said it's good to be a dog, but you have to know up to what point you can be a dog. I like that. And you like that Wingstop? Only thing I can eat from Wingstop is that dry rub. Dominique, hey, I'm telling you right now, I know where you're coming from. You wanna see it. You want to see it before you believe it. I see it. I'm one of these people. I kind of walk by faith and not by sight. But with the Cowboys, I mean, you playing the long game. You playing the long game when you're talking about the Cowboys walking by faith. We playing the long game, Dominique. We playing the long game. I can understand. Hey, Angie, let me tell you something. Are you anywhere near a Boomer Jacks? When I tell you that Boomer Jacks has the best lemon pepper tenders I've ever tasted, oh my. Boomer Jacks lemon pepper rub tenders. Don't get the lemon pepper sauce on them. Get the lemon pepper rub. Oh, they put Wingstop to shame. They put Wingstop to shame, Angie. I'm telling you. Boomer Jacks will put them to shame. I might go over to Boomer Jacks after I get off this stream. Man, I've been eating right for the most part. But man, Boomer Jacks kind of got me in a headlock with them doggone lemon pepper tenders. Hey Baz, you said you like the skeptic. Hey Baz, we gonna win the Super Bowl and Dominique still gonna be skeptical. He gonna say do it again. Dominique gonna say do it again. He said you did it once. I gotta see you do it again. Oh man, Angie, Boomer Jacks. Got one over here in Mansfield. Oh man. Whoa. Whoa. Man, they go hard. I'm just telling y'all now, they go hard.
We don't play a game for a long time. The more we get back into the installs and things like that, the good news is he's heard that stuff. I just think where he can continue to go and grow is scary, because what he did last year was amazing. And the more you watch the film and you see it, you're just kind of like, whoa, like it's different. And we've got a lot of really good football players, and he's certainly at the top of that list, along with some of our other studs.
To your knowledge,
I'm telling you, it just sounds like to me the Cowboys really love George Pickens. It just really does. I just don't think he's going anywhere. I just really think the Cowboys love George Pickens. They love George Pickens. I just think he's here to stay. I absolutely say that George Pickens is here to stay. And like I was telling y'all earlier, and I understand y'all pushing back on this. I understand, because we keep thinking this is the same old thing. But Brian Schottenheimer is basically saying the same thing that I said. They're actually not focused, and they're not focused as much on George Pickens' past behavior. They're more focused on his current behavior. And it sounds like to me, they're saying just continue what you're doing. And George Pickens, it sounds like in good faith, is saying, I'm going to win either way. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep playing well. Keep playing well. This is who I am, and Pittsburgh is not who I was. So I dig it. I dig it. And I think it's going to work out for the Cowboys, and I think it's going to work out for George Pickens. Larry Golden said, how about Bullet Bob Hayes and Drew Pearson towards Bob Hayes' end? A career that's a combination. Man, Bob Hayes.
Do you know the front office?
Bob Hayes changed football. And Larry Golden. Bullet Bob Hayes. People do not understand. Man, whoa. That dude was fast. That dude was fast. James Bowie, how about them Cowboys? Going to be an exciting year. Hey, I think what's going to be exciting about the Cowboys is going to be that defense. We're going to see how good it really is. And I don't think they're done with this defense. I think they're going to add some more pieces to it. You already heard that Brian just said we're still in the business of acquiring talent. So I'm excited about what the Cowboys are doing. I really am. I'm excited about it.
Has informed him they're not planning on trading him?
No, we've been very upfront with George from the beginning about, hey, we're going to play on the tag and all that stuff, but I don't think there's any reason for us to have that. That's not what we plan on doing. And so at the end of the day, we see George being a part of this football team and having a great 2025 and hopefully beyond.
You mean 2026? Are we listening to the wrong broadcast? He said 2025.
Just piggyback on that. You say he's not excited to be here. Is he?
Jeremy Betts, I have been driving this point home that you said right here. George Pickens loves it here. Why would he want to be anywhere else? And again, Jeremy Betts, think about this. And I know you're already thinking about this. $40 million anywhere else is not $40 million in Dallas. Excuse me. $40 million anywhere else is not $40 million in Dallas. If you go to the West Coast or the East Coast and get $40 million, you're going to get paid less. George Pickens, if he went to the East Coast or the West Coast, he would actually make less, even if he made $40 million a year. George Pickens would make less than what he's making this year on the franchise tag. George Pickens, in reality, I'm just saying in reality, he's going to make more money than Jackson Smith in Jigba being here because of the state taxes, because of a lack of a state tax and the lack of a millionaire tax. He's going to make more than Jackson Smith in Jigba this year than Jackson Smith in Jigba is actually going to make any year in Seattle, because Jackson Smith in Jigba, when it's all said and done, is only going to make $24 million per year after I believe after taxes. So George, while he won't make $24 million after taxes, you go somewhere else, man, you're just getting robbed. Just bottom line. I just think he likes the environment. I really think he likes the environment. Jeremy Betts said his teammates here, and that's obvious how close he and CD, which ain't going nowhere, but Dak loves him. Jones loves him too. I think so too. Yeah, Big Amish said 10% haircut on state tax. And then it's the millionaire, in Big Amish, the millionaire tax. Not just the millionaire tax, the cost of living in those places. Crazy work. Larry Golden, Bob Hayes changed football, man. Changed football. Yeah, true Texan. Cost of living is cheaper. True Texan. Let's also think about this. George stays in Dallas. What y'all think them jersey sales looking like? What y'all think them jersey sales looking like in Dallas? There's a lot of perks of being and staying in Dallas.
You get a sense that he's disappointed.
Ron Hanna, it sounds like to me they're talking about the future with George Pickens. I don't think they're just talking about this year.
In how the business is being handled, that could affect his excitement when he does show up.
I'm not going to speak for GP. I don't think, the business side of it is the business side of it, and so I know how much he loves football. I know how much he loves this football team, and I'm always going to say this about George because it's real. the influence that he has in that locker room is tremendous because of two things. The talent is incredible, but how much passion and joy he gets out of playing the game, guys feed off that.
So that's what I was asking, because, he's going to be here, but we're not negotiating with you. He wants to be here. We can be honest about that, okay?
Of course, yeah.
So he's not getting what he wants.
Yep.
And do you have a sense that it can affect the passion, the joy that he brings to the table? And
Yeah, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And
Let me tell you what Clarence Hill and others are missing about George Pickens signing the tag and being here. Let me tell you what they're missing. George is negotiating. Y'all do realize George Pickens is still negotiating. George Pickens will be negotiating until he get that deal. George Pickens is negotiating. George Pickens signing the tag early was a part of a negotiation. It don't matter if the Joneses are not, or it doesn't matter if the Joneses are saying we're not negotiating, but George is. George Pickens is negotiating. And when George Pickens shows up in June, do we not realize he's negotiating? When George Pickens shows up in July, George Pickens is negotiating. George Pickens not saying anything on social media is George Pickens negotiating. Everything that George Pickens is doing, and he is doing it whether I agree with it or not, George Pickens is negotiating. And it's genius what he's doing. He's negotiating. George is saying, I'm going to do it different. I'm going to take the advice of Dak Prescott. I'm going to negotiate. I'm going to negotiate with the Joneses in the court of public opinion. I'm going to do everything in my power, not in their power. I'm going to do everything in my power to show the people who believe in me that they are right. I'm going to show them they are right and that I'm worth everything that I'm talking about. George is negotiating. People don't realize that whenever you're talking about negotiations, you're not just negotiating at the table. You're negotiating in every single behavior that you exercise during that time. George isn't negotiating only with the Cowboys. George Pickens is negotiating with the league. He's negotiating with the league. Because if he's not with the Cowboys next year, there will be other teams that would have looked at him and said, okay, I saw it 2 years. George was incredible. Locker room, on the field, and notice Brian Schottenheimer, he's talking about locker room business. George is negotiating. This is what Clarence Hill is missing. So if George is negotiating, why would it take away his passion? He's going to be even more passionate because he's actually negotiating. And this is what people don't understand. He's negotiating. Tin Chong, he said the non-football money is more. It is business opportunities and investment opportunities that open up as a Cowboy. The life after football is better too if you are there. Not to mention, play his cards right, he'll get those endorsement deals. Angie, you just gave him an endorsement with them George Pickles. That could be on the burger right there. Have George Pickles on your burger. Yeah, Ron Hanna, man. Yeah, we walking by sight, man. We walking by faith. We playing the long game, man. We playing the long game, and we hoping it's about to come to fruition.
Again, I think because George would play this game for $1 as much as he loves football. I mean, he's played this game for, I don't think he was part of the NIL deal. It was George.
Angie, them Cowboys burger with them George Pickens pickles on there, them George Pickens pickles on there. It's on. You need to trademark that in case somebody try to put it on the burger.
Maybe was sorry, Kirby. No, yeah. No, we never did that in Florida. Obviously, you can look at our record and know we're not doing that in Florida. But yeah. Sorry, Gator Nation. Yeah, sorry, Gator Nation. But my point is, like, these guys that love playing the game, they love playing the game. And again,
See, this is Dak Prescott talk. It's the same thing Dak Prescott was saying. You know, he don't play for money because the money comes with what you're doing. He wasn't saying he playing it for free, but the money comes with what he's doing. So George is doing this right. Would I rather him have a long-term deal? Yes. Is he taking a risk? Yes. But he's doing it right. He's negotiating whether people realize it or not.
I love pickup football. I used to play in the backyard.
What's up, Captain? Bring the
as
kiss.
Running out there on Saturdays and Sundays sometimes.
It's 11:20.
Oh, I got to go to walkthrough. We're just getting started.
One more.
We're just getting started. Who hasn't got one? I got one more question. Oh, man.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Malachi Lawrence had a 1.5 10-yard split. We talked about yesterday how the emphasis was false stepping and trying to improve on that. How much of that plays into his projectability about trying to harness that quick step and get out of the false step?
Yeah, so I sat in a meeting the other day run by, Chid, and BT was in there, and it's really cool for me because as an offensive coach, the scientific approach to how you rush the passer is real. And for any golfers out here, like there is the fundamentals and all that, but like to hear Chid and BT break down the steps and the weight distribution of where the weight should be distributed 70-30, whatever, and how you want to have your heel off the ground a little bit because you can't false step. Every split second matters, but it is scientific. As much so that I literally left the meeting. I said, "Hey, BT, come on." And I walked him into the offensive line room, and I just kind of made the introduction because they can learn from BT as well. Like, he was great. He was like, "Hey, I got rush plans on all you guys, so if you guys want to know," because he was in Denver. And so I just think, again, us getting better is BT impacting not just the defensive line, pass rushers. He's going to affect Caleb Downs and Reddy Stewart and Malik Hooker and the guys that we want to blitz because it's still the same techniques. It's just, again, whether you're coming from on the ball, off the ball, deep. But it is a scientific thing that was really, really cool for me to see. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Act Young, I'm sure he got that injury insurance too. I'm sure GP got that injury insurance. Yeah, I'm sure he got it. Big Amish said GP is realizing that his branding more valuable in Dallas than anywhere else. May even be more valuable than his salary. Endorsements and branding will exceed his salary if it's played right. Yeah, I think George is playing this the right way. George is negotiating with everybody. He's doing it the right way. Backbreaker said Brian ain't no championship level coach. Well, if you get a championship level team, I think he'll be fine. Bass, the only thing is Brooks doesn't play green dot either. I think it's going to be D Winters. Yeah, I think it's going to be D Winters. I do. I absolutely think it's going to be D Winters. But again, the Cowboys, we don't know what they could do after June 1st. So we got to wait and see what the June 1st stuff is going to look like. But I think the Cowboys are going to be fine. Hold on a second here. I think they're going to be fine going. Hold on, let me see what my man Dominique said. He said, G had me confused. I wouldn't question the team if they won the Super Bowl, but after 30 years of seeing the same foolishness, I don't fall for tomfoolery. I already know where you are. Yeah, I know where you are. Cowboys, man, it's been a long time coming. It's a lot of people out there that are skeptical fans. I mean, we used to have somebody in the chat used to call themselves skeptical fan, but it's a lot of people out there. They got to see it. It just is what it is. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, though, for sure. But I do think we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it here this year. This year, no later than next year. And if we don't do it this year, I got a feeling we're going to get really close. I got a feeling we are going to get really, really close. They're putting together something. We just got to let them finish it out. Just got to let them finish it out. But again, I'll say on the other side of that, we got to be careful too, because we'll ruin the games for ourselves. And I've been saying this over the last couple of years. One thing I'm not going to do, I don't care what the Cowboys have done over the last 31 years. I am not going to let it ruin the season for me as I watch the Dallas Cowboys. And one of the things that I do is I make sure that I don't try to approach the Cowboys from a negative perspective, because if you approach the Cowboys from a negative perspective, it's just how do you even enjoy watching football if you just approach everything from the negative perspective? I think the Cowboys this year, they're going to have just as good a chance as anybody this year. Good a chance as anybody. I think they're going to do well. I'm not going to put all of this pressure on I'm not going to put all this pressure on Christian Parker, though, to say that Christian Parker is going to get the Cowboys to a top 10 defense and all those things. But I am in the boat of, if they can just get this thing to around the 20, just get it close to 20, I think they're going to do some damage. I think they're going to do some serious damage. And I think they're going to do more than most. And again, it's a game to game process for me. Well, I just keep it like this. It's football. It's not life-changing for me. I mean, I love it, but at the same time, I just got to make sure that I don't get so wrapped up in it that it starts to affect my disposition. And so at the end of the day, I mean, I just can't look at it from a negative perspective, because even in those 30 years, there were years the Cowboys absolutely had chances. When Dak Prescott wasn't here, they had chances. And I believe had Dak Prescott had some of the chances that Tony Romo had, I believe that Dak Prescott probably would have won or got to a couple of those Super Bowls. Because, I mean, when Tony Romo was here, they absolutely took a couple of opportunities for granted. I mean, the year they went down to Cabo was insane to me. I mean, that year was insane to me. I don't even understand that. I mean, just flat out took it for granted. I think the problem with the years that Dak Prescott has been here, for example, that 2023 season, man, that defense was fool's gold. Anybody who watched that defense down the stretch knew that defense wasn't beating anybody. What we expected was at least to get a victory over the Green Bay Packers. Man, we couldn't even beat the Green Bay Packers with that defense. Couldn't even beat them with that defense. They ran all over us. Big Amish said injury insurance protects the player and the team. Yeah, both can take out insurance that if the player gets hurt, that it protects his income, salary, or pays out a large sum if he no longer can play the game. I think he's going to get that. I'm sure, if anything, he's going to get that. Freddie says, I remember playing street football with another group of guys. Also had a disabled guy. Man, let me tell you, me and that dude used to go at it. We both wanted to whoop each other's butt. Yeah, it was, I remember we used to play sideline kill. Man, if you don't know what that is, good shoot. Shoot. You don't know what that is. Yeah, Miss Mason, I respect that. Judge just said differently. Nothing wrong either way. Yeah. I mean, you just gotta be careful at the way you watch some of this stuff. Because I'm telling you, it will bleed out into your personal life. And you'll let this stuff affect you in ways that it actually shouldn't be affecting you. I mean, we will. So we just got to be careful, and just got to be careful with that. But again, I don't think it's necessarily a positivity thing or whatever the case may be. I just think when you look at what the Cowboys are doing, I think the Cowboys have a very good chance, a very good opportunity. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised if they have a moniker. I'm not going to be surprised if they have a moniker going into this season. Why not us? Because that's what they keep saying. Why not us? And they keep talking about Seattle and the Patriots. Why not us? Why can't we do it? Why not us? Okay, we're going to see. Why not us? Just got to keep working. Yeah, Ron Hanna, this is why I'm very confident in George Pickens. I believe it too. He's going to prove it on the field. He's going to prove everything on the field as well as off the field. I believe it. I choose to believe that this is the George. I believe this is the real George we're watching right now. I believe this is the real George. Yeah. Miss Matrix said, Texas born and bred, it hits different. And again, Miss Matrix, I don't know how old you are. I've been alive long enough to see the Cowboys win Super Bowls. Some people they haven't really seen the Cowboys win Super Bowls in their lifetime. So it's different for some of the young folk. Yeah, I've been alive long enough to see them win it. and know what it's like. And I also think, just based on some of the things that they're doing, I really think the Cowboys are getting where they need to get. And this is the best I felt about the Cowboys. I will be honest. This is the best I felt about the Cowboys in years. Because the Tony Romo years, I'm just sorry. I was shaky in the Tony Romo years. I was real shaky in the Romo years. Yeah, Megan Sedone, let me tell you, the last time I cried is when the Cowboys lost, and I don't even want to bring it up again, but when Joe Montana threw that ball to Dwight Clark, that was the last time I cried. Last time I cried, boy, it was tough. Now, I can't say the same thing about my wife, though. Frank Lawrence said, as far as will the Dallas Cowboys win another Super Bowl, whatever God intends for you, no man can stop. Yeah. Frank Lawrence, and you think about what the Cowboys have been doing. If you want to change something and you pray about something, you have to put it into action. And the thing that I can appreciate about the Cowboys is they have put it into action. Everything they're doing is finally saying, we want to win. We want to win. They've been saying, it's like they've been saying this. This is the second season in a row they're saying, now we want to win the Super Bowl. This isn't just about being America's team. No, we want to win the Super Bowl. Everything they've been doing is pointing to they want to win the Super Bowl. And I think they got the talent to do it. When you look at a lot of these top 10 lists, Cowboys they're in the top 10 in a lot of these position lists. But that's not what is impressing me, because I think the Cowboys have always done that. I think what they have done different is they're putting together a team. And that is why I am so impressed with the Dallas Cowboys. They are putting together a team. And anytime you start putting together a team, I think you can do some things. And contrary to what we believe, we'll see what happens on July the 15th. But at this point, the only drama with the Dallas Cowboys is made up. Because it doesn't seem to me that George Pickens and the Cowboys are fighting. It don't seem like they're fighting. It seems like to me they're coming to an understanding. It seemed like to me they're coming to an understanding. Angie said I was two. She said I was two last time. She said I was two. They won a Super Bowl. That's why I said I can understand some of y'all young folk. I can understand it. But I can tell you this, Angie, being alive, this seems like the Cowboys are getting back to what they were before. They're getting real close. They're getting real close. This is starting to feel like it felt around 91, 92. I said it last year, but this is getting closer and closer to that 91, 92 feeling of where they're acquiring enough talent. And when you think about 91, 92, Cowboys got real young. Cowboys got real young while also having some veteran talent. I think we're getting there. True Texan. Oh, man, that Jackie Smith drop against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, man. I think the whole world cried, man. I think the whole world cried. Freddie said, I remember the boys losing to the Skins in a late season game at Texas Stadium in the 70s. Man, I cried like a baby because that loss cost us the NFC East in the playoff spot. Yeah, there's been some crying moments with the Cowboys. There have definitely been some crying moments. Man, I tell you, man, up until about 3 years ago, man, the Cowboys, man, it would be so bad for me about 3 years ago before I started this channel, and y'all have really helped me out more than you know. But I remember about 3 or 4 years ago when I used to watch the Dallas Cowboys and we would lose sometimes. I wouldn't even watch football. If the Cowboys played at 12, I wouldn't even watch football for the rest of the day if they lost. I wouldn't even watch football for the rest of the day. And on Monday, come around, I wouldn't even look at any of the sports shows. I would really be, it would really take me about 2 days to detox when the Cowboys would lose about 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know, Backbreaker. I think they're getting there. I think they are on the verge of being a championship level team. Nobody thought the 1991, 1992 Cowboys were a championship level team. And I think some of the moves they're making, some of the things they're doing, I'm starting to get them same vibes from 1991, 92. Starting to get those same vibes. They got the talent. Cowboys got the talent on offense. They have the talent. Got to tweak the tackles, but I think they have the talent. The defense, they're getting the talent on defense, and I think they are way more talented than they were last year. I think they're way more talented than they were last year. Pure Gaming said, I'm still watching football if the Cowboys lose. Man, I'm going to tell you something. I do now, but I'm telling you, about 3-4 years ago, ooh, it was tough. It was tough. I had to turn it off. It would take me a couple of days to detox. It really would. King Greg said, nope, not watching none of the sports shows till we play again. When I used to watch sports shows, they would only watch Cowboys. Man, shoot. Only watch Cowboys content now. Shoot. King Greg, let me tell you something, man. I would have to detox, especially when they would be talking about the Cowboys on them 3- and 4-letter networks, man. Boy, I'd have to detox, man. Yep, Tony Romo. Is that the one against the New York Giants? 06 divisional game is what haunts me. Yeah, Freddie said, I'm eating. He said, don't remind me that Montana pass, man. I still can't get over. Oof. Boy, that was tough, bro. That was tough. Rolando, he said, let's talk old enough to have seen all these Super Bowls played cheers. Danny White should have won a Super Bowl. I agree. People do not realize how great Danny White was. Yeah, I think they're getting back to that point, backbreaker. I really like the coaches. I don't put Brian Schottenheimer on the level of Jimmy Johnson, but backbreaker, I do think that Brian is doing it his way, and I think he's doing it better than anybody I've seen since Jimmy. I think he's doing it better than anybody since Jimmy. So I just got to give him credit for what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing from Brian. I want him to really evolve his plays like he said he's going to do this year. I really think he needs to evolve his play calling. But for the most part, as it applies to Brian Schottenheimer, I'm really happy with a lot of things I've seen from him. I'm really happy with a lot of things I've seen from Brian Schottenheimer. And in year 2, he definitely looks a lot more confident. He got the coach that he wants now. He's got the coach that he wants now. They went and got him some players. They're happy with the draft they've had over the last 2 years. And we really got to watch this thing evolve, backbreaker. We got to see what DeMarion Overshown is finally going to be in year 3. We got to see what he's going to be. Let's kind of look at this Cowboys roster before we get out of here. Cam Newton getting fried for that Dak. Yeah, he went a little far in that Dak take. I'll give it to you. I think he went a little far. Yeah, I think he went a little far on that Dak take, bro. He said there are no more excuses. I don't know. I'm still because we haven't seen Christian Parker's defense on the field, and so that's where we got to pump the brakes just a little bit. I got to see it on the field so I can gauge my confidence level of where we are. But I still say, man, the Cowboys are doing some things different. Backbreaker said, you tell me they have Tony Aikman's lead. Oh, I do. Dak Prescott, I'm putting him up there with Troy Aikman. The only difference between Dak Prescott and Troy Aikman at this point, Troy Aikman had a better team around him. Dak has never had the team around him that Troy Aikman had. He's never had that team around him. But Dak is getting, you talk about Ken Norton leadership and some of these guys. Let's see what these other guys do. Let's see. We're getting some of this young talent. Let's see what they do. And then again, and we're not done with the talent acquisition. Let's just see what we're doing. But again, man, when I look at this roster's really starting to come together. This roster ain't what it's going to be towards the end. It's not going to be it's not what it's going to be when we start the season, but I'm starting to like the roster. I mean, you got Quinnen Williams, love it. You got Kenny Clark, love it. Tito Obonya, we're going to see. Linebackers, Gary Rashawn, like it. Like it with Gary Rashawn. DeMarion Overshown, love it. Just got to stay healthy. D. Winters, love it. Guy played really well with San Fran. Donovan Ezeraku, in between, love it and like it. I got to see him. I got to see how he bounces back. Deron Bland. I got to see if I got to see if he put some real shoes on and get out of them church shoes. But I like the fact that we went and got Devin Moore. I love the fact we went and got Devin Moore. I believe Devin Moore could actually be a starter on this team in the future. Love Jalen Thompson. Love Jalen Thompson at the safety position. Love the PJ Locke move. Love the Caleb Downs move. Love the Kobe Durant move. We're going to see about Savon Revel Jr. We're going to see about him. Traquez Bridges, I still can't believe he's on the team. Darion Kendrick. Darion Kendrick can play, man. Darion Kendrick. I like some of the things I'm seeing with the defense. I really do. I like some of the things, but they're not done yet. And this is the part we got to understand. They're not done. They're not done. So we just got to let them keep working the roster. But the Cowboys can get from under Deron Bland I think it's Deron Bland. I think they get from under Deron Bland in a year or two. So I'm glad we got Devin Moore, because if Deron Bland ain't working, we got Devin Moore. I think he's going to be great in this league. Let him get his football feet up under him. I think he would have went higher had he not had injuries. Andy said Bland could shut down the whole side of the field. Shotty. Well, I know he can shut down the whole side of the church. I know he can shut down the whole side of a church because he was out there in church shoes against the Arizona Cardinals. Edgy, he was out there in church shoes, so I know he can shut down the church. I don't know about no whole side of the field. I don't know about that. Bass said, look here, Dez my favorite player. Y'all gonna start reminding me of Dez caught it. Oh, yeah, I still have not recovered, man. That was tough. That was tough, man. I remember when Dez caught that ball, I ran. I was jumping up and down. And when they said Dez didn't catch that ball, I had to go outside and decompress, man. I had to go outside and decompress. Ooh! I had to decompress. I did. I had to decompress. I was livid after they said that was not a catch. And I think they did it on purpose. Pure Gamer said Bland was doing backflips in them church shoes, man. Man, almost got Marvin Harrison III a whole new contract that night, man. Almost got that man a whole new contract. Jerome Miller, he said, G, you need to do a show on running back out of Tulsa. Is that you talking about Dominique? I got it. I'm putting it together. Trust me. I've been collecting all my material on it. Trust me. I'm working on it. Might actually put the video out today. I'm working on it. I think he's going to be the answer if Jaden Blue don't get it together. What's going on, Travis? Yeah, I think he's going to be. Oh man, you broke your TV on that play. Boy, it was tough, bro. I had to decompress, man. I had to go outside, man. I was on the brink of crying. I had to go out, man. I had to go outside. They know Dez Bryant caught that ball. That ball never touched the ground. They know that ball never touched the ground. Even, what's his name? Dean Blandino, whatever his name is, he came back later on talking about it was a catch. It's too late now, bro. It's too late now to be talking about it was a catch. It's over with. You changed the trajectory of Tony Romo and Dez Bryant's career. I believe they go to the Super Bowl, they win that game. Bass said he punched clean through. You punched through the TV, man. Come on. Hey, bro, it was tough. I know, bro. It was tough. It was tough, bro. I know. I had to decompress after that one, man. I think so, JCT Slice. I'm going to tell you this, Caleb Downs. People like Caleb Downs so much. I'm not even going to be surprised if he goes to the Pro Bowl in his first year. I'm just not. I'm not going to be surprised. Dominique said Bland ain't never going to let them allegations down. Deron Twerk team. Boy, Bland got towed up, bro. Running around in them church shoes. Real estate vet said, I still wear that shirt that says Dez caught it. Every day I have to fight to prove my love for the Cowboys. Boy, I know that was tough, bro. I had to decompress after that game, man. I had to decompress after that game. It was tough. It was tough. JCT Slice, you cried. Boy, it was tough. Boy, it was tough. That was the closest we had been. I had to decompose. I had to decompress, man. I did. Yeah, Miss Matches, I gotta agree with you. I think it was on purpose. Man, I didn't even want to hear nothing Dean Blandino had to say after that. I was like, come on, bro. Y'all know that was a catch from the get-go. That ball never touched the ground. Ed just said Blade had on them alligator Stacey Adams cleats. You know what? I'm gonna give you alligator Stacey Adams. Angie, I don't think there was no cleats on the bottom of them shoes. I don't think there was no cleats. I think he was wearing straight up alligator Stacey Adams. I don't think there was no cleats on the bottom of them shoes. He was slipping and sliding out there, man. He was he was slipping and sliding out there. It was bad. It was bad. Bad said, I'll never forget when McCarthy put Zeke at center to block. Boy, I remember that too, boy. Boy, I tell you, man, boy, the memories, Bass, boy. Those, man, hey, Bass, we're not even talking about memories. We're literally talking about mental scars. We're talking about mental scars, man. Mental scars from some of the things we've seen with these Cowboys. I can understand why people are skeptical about the Cowboys. I can fully understand it. JCT Slice said we would have beaten Seattle again. I believe it too. I believe we beat Seattle again and go to the Super Bowl. I do. Freddie says you can't expect present day boys players to be like or as good as players like Too Tall, Harry, Harvey Martin, Cole, Randy, Cliff Harris, Charlie, Mel Renfro, Betty Barnes. Yes, because not all of these players. Yeah, it's a different time. Newhouse, hey, it was the replay that really made you mad. The replay is what got you. Shoot, WD said Blair was rocking them little pepper steppers. Boy, you ain't, boy. If it was ever a night that Ron Bland got hit, boy, I'm sorry, if I were the Cowboys, I'd have ripped his contract up after that night. Katharina Kidd said Newhouse, she says that was a lot. Dez had that catch for sure. Oh, I was hot. I was hot, man. I was hot. Grave Digger, I'm going to tell you this, Grave Digger, they couldn't have made that call in Dallas. It'd have been a crime that day. And all the Green Bay Packer fans probably would have been beat up. They couldn't have made that call in Dallas. Real Estate said, y'all gonna stop talking about Bland, man. I'm cool with it. Hey, he better be good this year. Real Estate Vet, let me tell you something. Cowboys have done something here people better pay attention to. Savon Revel Jr., you better step it up. Kobe Durant is in town. Deron Bland, you better step it up. Devin Moore's in town. And I'm saying right now, man, Ezra Raku, bro, you better be on it. Ezra Raku better be on it. Jay-Sean Barr, Malachi Lawrence, Donovan, you better be on it, bro. Demarion Overshown, you better stay healthy. Better stay healthy. Cowboys got some players that could actually come in here and play. And we don't even know what they're going to do by the time this thing is all said and done. True Texan said Barry Switzer and his 2 4th-and-1 calls in a row. Man, I'm going to tell you something. The Barry Switzer period was a blur to me. Bass said if Pollard didn't go down, we was lighting them Niners up. I believe we beat them. Yeah, I agree with you. I believe the Cowboys would have beat the Niners if Tony Pollard not broke his leg. Or had they not broke his leg with a drop hip tackle. I agree. Justin Harris, he said, gee, if we win the Super Bowl, what do you think they will say the reason is? Do you think those 3 and 4 letter network stations will give Dak his flowers? I think they will. They already gave it to him last year. I think they will. I'm telling you now, man, Dak Prescott is... I will not be shocked. First ballot Hall of Famer, they win one Super Bowl with him. King Grit said the Cowboys, we have it, all of us in here trauma bonded. Boy, you ain't lying, boy. Mental scars, King Grit. Mental scars. I am not lying. Angie said this is an abusive relationship. Man, shoot. I ain't disagreeing with you. I understand why people are skeptical about the Cowboys, but a lot of people are saying they think the Cowboys going to win. Travis said when we went up on Green Bay and left too much time on the clock, Aaron Rodgers was laughing, drove down and put us out of the game. Whoa. Travis, I can remember like yesterday. Dak Prescott got the Cowboys. I think it was inside the 5-yard line, looked over at Jason Garrett, asked Jason Garrett, what should they do? And I think they either downed it or called a timeout. Oh, I was furious. I'm like, no, keep running the timeout. Left way too much time on the clock. Angie, I said the same thing when it happened. I said the same thing. That dude did that on purpose. I'm with you. I'll always believe that. It was on purpose. Angie said the Cowboys are Ike Turner. Hey, Angie, when we were growing up, they called them the Cardiac Cowboys. They called us the Cardiac Cowboys. That's what they called us. Hey, I'm telling you now, Drew Brees, he will get the MVP if he wins the Super Bowl. Drew Brees, was he first ballot? Did he win it on first ballot? Or did he miss it? You make sure. I thought Drew Brees made it on the first ballot Hall of Famer. He only had one Super Bowl. Yeah, Drew Brees made it to the Hall of Fame. Him and Dak Prescott's career, eerily similar. Wins, everything. Eerily similar. Dak Prescott wins a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys after 31, 32 years. Shoot. Nah, man. I think he's going to be first ballot. That's going to stick in people's mind like crazy. You win a Super Bowl with the Cowboys after 31 years? Nah, that's going to be in people's mind. They do. That's going to be in their mind. You watch what I tell you. Dak ain't on Brees' level. I don't know. I think he's better. I think Dak is better than Brees. Especially when I think about some of the players and the coaches that Brees has had. Now, Dak has done more with less. All right, man. I appreciate the conversation today. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Long way to go, Cowboys fans. Long way to go. But I believe the Cowboys are on that road. I believe the Cowboys are on that road, and some of y'all young folks, y'all gonna get to see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I believe it. I believe it. Not based on what they've done the last 31 years, but based on what they're doing now. That's all I can pull from. I can't do anything about 31 years ago. I can only go by what I'm seeing now. I love what I'm seeing now from the Dallas Cowboys. I really do. I love what I'm seeing. They're making all the right moves, and I think they got more moves to make. I think the Cowboys are going to make a move, some more moves, and they're going to continue to do things to make this into a championship level team. What you are watching now is not where we're going to be when the season starts. I don't think so. At attention, I don't think so. I don't think there's a coach Dak Prescott has been with better than Sean Payton. You tell me. Coaching matters. Tell me who the coach is. Tell me who the offensive mind and coach is that Dak Prescott has had that's better than Sean Payton or even on that level. Dak Prescott has not had the play caller. Hasn't had the coaching. Hasn't had the players around him. Nah, I don't think so. James Booth said we're going to be better this year. I think so too. Health is wealth. Yes, sir. Got to stay healthy. Yes, sir. Early live. It was therapy for everybody. Man, if I'm feeling up to it, after I do a couple of videos, get me some food, hang out with my wife, may come back for Cowboys After Dark tonight. We'll see what happens. See what happens. They're not showing any videos from the Cowboys rookie minicamp. I'm kind of like, what's going on with that? Even though it's just jerseys and t-shirts, so it's not that good. Not that big of a deal. But again, appreciate y'all rocking with me. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace. Yo, G, bless.